Hello there, ladies, gentlemen and unicorns. Welcome to this rather random stream of mine, and congratulations, Ender, on winning the pop quiz. And sorry, Lady Miss Leaf, you just popped in for one question and you fumbled the answer, but I know that you're correct. But yeah, the quiz only takes the first number it finds, and yeah, there is a lot going on my email box, because for summer email box, I sound like someone who just acquired this new technology of email. Yeah, there's a lot going on because apparently it's still Black Friday, or very last chances for Black Friday. So yeah, nobody deletes it like Phil does. Welcome, how are you doing, everyone? I hope you're doing well, because it's been quite a while since I've last slept for more than 7 hours. So now today I finally somehow caught up and had two cups of coffee so far, so I'm buzzing. Lady Miss Liv said it was 41 because he was unable to participate in 40 and had the free time to make it. That's where I got tripped up. Yeah, it's okay. We all know you know the answer, and especially I know that you all know the answer. Oh my god. Now it's the family. Now it's the family. So, right, what's in store for us today? In store? Thank you very much. Today I thought I'd get started on the Steam store page, and for the uninitiated show you how what Steam actually expects of developers or publishers when you want to sell your game on Steam, because it's more than the first time that I actually anticipated the amount of things that you have to prepare. And so I already got my drawing tablet ready. It's the Wacom Intuos 4. I still like the 4, and my pen, and hopefully yeah, okay, the mouse pointer is still moving, so hopefully this also works live on stream. Right, and the other thing that I hinted at on Twitter was I finally managed to get OBS to record completely and utterly lossless. Because you probably have noticed that I'm very strong when it comes to quality and recording quality, and when I record video games, the default H264 is not sufficient for me for a number of reasons, especially because when you're playing pixel games, you maybe have noticed it when you record something very pixely from the old days, and then you have some red pixels against green pixels, and for some reason it always looks a bit washed out and blurry. And this has to do with chromatic subsampling. Yeah, I'm throwing now all the big words out. And the problem that I was having is I don't like this chromatic subsampling. Essentially it means that the resolution for the different color channels gets reduced, because perceptively you don't really see it unless of course you want to work with the videos, maybe zoom in or something. And so I really wanted OBS to record losslessly. The problem was, why didn't I record with Bandicam? Yeah, I was playing Inscription, and if you follow me on Twitter, you probably have noticed that I showed you what Inscription does to Bandicam. The problem is, since it's a Daniel Mullins game and it's always very fourth wall breaking, where it looks like it's crashing, but it's not actually crashing, because this is intentional. Only you as a player should think it's crashing. And so at first I thought, when I launched the game and kept constantly crashing, that is that the game? Do I have to do something? I don't know how to get to the title screen. Turns out it was Bandicam running and recording everything. And this crashed the game and Bandicam and destroyed the recording. So I had to look for a different solution. My solution was use OBS, which is awesome because it's open source, not Streamlabs OBS. We don't like that one. Just plain old vanilla OBS. And finally managed to record losslessly. Because when you just set the settings to, I want just to record easy mode, lossless, yeah, I don't care about how much drive space it eats up. It's lossless. I don't have to have a worry in the world. And then I realize it's not lossless. The compression, the chromatic subsampling is 4x2x2, and this is not what I want. And I spent half of Friday and the rest of the weekend trying to figure things out. The thing is, it was just one setting, and you know what? Maybe I can show you what my solution was, or what the actual solution was to this. And I'm running now a second OBS on here, and I really hope, yeah, the second WebSocket server failed and the chat is, yeah, everything is just falling apart. But that's okay, because the stream is still going strong. Okay, good. Okay, so first let's have a look at the chat. I had no idea why people disliked Streamlabs OBS so much until recently. Now I have to switch. Exactly, yeah. Personally, as for me, I never felt comfortable with Streamlabs OBS. I can't really put my finger on it what it was. This is also what I tweeted couple of days back or a week back, where then I read all of the controversy and I thought, yeah, that's kind of shitty, and yeah, this is, I'm glad that I never supported them. And you can do pretty much everything that Streamlabs OBS does with plain old vanilla OBS, even more so if you just get the urge to do some programming yourself. And from my side, I can really say I never thought that I would be web programming like I'm doing now. Even a couple of years back, I never thought I would have this integration of my pop quiz with OBS and Twitch and back and forth and everything. But it's really working out. And maybe one day, if anyone's interested, we can look over my unicorn server code. It's not going to be pretty because it's this one huge base class where everything is in a huge switch statement and it goes back and forth, and yeah, it's a bit all over the place because there's some logic in the quiz page itself, which is just communicating via WebSockets and so on and so forth. But it might be interesting. Right, I wanted to show you how to record losslessly with OBS. So here we are in OBS, and the thing is, let's open up the settings page because this is where all the magic happens. So the first thing, of course, here is under output, and usually you would just say simple and say yes, recording quality same as stream, or high quality or lossless quality, tremendously large file size, and it gives you a warning here. But once you record, like I said, it is not actually lossless because there is chromatic subsampling happening. Again, chromatic subsampling, just in the very broad strokes, 4x2x2, or there's also 4x2x0. Actually, it means you got for all of the 4 samples of luminance information that you have 2 samples of the first color difference signal and 2 samples with 4x2x2 and 2 samples of the other color difference signal. It's not RGB because it's not red, green, and blue, but it's YUV. It's YUV, which stands for luminance. That's the first channel. So essentially, it's just the black and white is uncompressed or losslessly compressed in 4x2x2. But the other 2 channels, they are just color differentiation signals. So the first channel is, you know what, I can show it to you because it probably makes more sense if I can show you something. And since I have Photoshop here open anyway, let me show you how this looks. So let's make something. Let's make a gradient here. This is just the luminance thing going on here, and then we can maybe have some colors. So maybe just some reds here, and just so that I have a couple of different colors. Or you know what, maybe there's even a rainbow gradient somewhere in the presets until I have deleted them. Maybe it's there under basics, blues, purples, oranges, iridescent, there we go. So yeah, something like along those lines. I mean, green is now missing in this one here, so maybe I can just paint over some more green like this. Right, since I stream in Polish, Streamlabs is useless for me, says Mr. Julius. Yeah, of course, it only works with English, so yeah, totally makes sense. Okay, so this is your RGB image. It's not a very pretty one, granted, but if you look over at the different channels, there is your red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel. This is how computers store images. But then, of course, there is this whole entire broadcast thing of moving pictures and everything, and this is differently because it's presented in YUV or YUV, as some people like to call it, and you get an approximation here by switching the color mode from RGB to LAB color. So essentially, yeah, I don't want to flatten this. And instead of red, green, blue, now you have a lightness in an A and a B channel. So if we look at the lightness channel, it is Thank you very much. Another Black Friday thing. You can see here, this is just the perceived brightness, the lightness, the black and white signal that you would have when you have an old-timey black and white television, right? Because this was the whole purpose of having this channel separation, because there was this transitioning period when people still had black and white TVs at home, and then when color got introduced, you couldn't expect of everyone to switch to a new television, so they had to be backwards compatible. And this is still today the case with YUV. Right, so this is the lightness, but now where's the color? Where's the color? And here we got this in the A and B channels. So this is the A channel, and this is the B channel. And if I just have the A and B channels activated, you can see here, yeah, there is color, there is all the color, but there is no brightness information, because all the brightness information, the lightness information is here in the lightness channel. So the A channel is, now it's presented as black and white, but it's between this yellow and blue, and the B channel is between purple and green. And if it's something, if it's completely in the middle, it's just middle gray. And the further it deviates from this middle gray, as we can see here, the entirety of the gradient would be this middle gray. So, okay, with this background, what is happening with 4x2x2 compression is that we have the entire image resolution for the luminance channel, which is good, which is what we want. But 2x2 means 4x2x2 means that the other two channels, those one, get downscaled by 50%. So you got for each one pixel, one sample of luminance information. Other way around. You got where we have two different pixels, two information, two samples for luminance. You only get one for chrominance. So essentially, it's just half the resolution. And is this a problem? You would ask. And usually it is not. It's not perceptible. The thing is, with computer graphics and everything, where it has to really be pixel perfect, and especially if you're playing games with pixel art, where everything has to be super tidy, and you want there no bleeding in your recording, this can be a problem, because imagine if you're recording a game in VGA that's 320 by 200 pixels in 4x2x2, and then of course it means that you halve your color resolution. Now it's 160 color pixels by 100, and this is really perceptible. So this is essentially the whole point why I always want to capture and store my videos in 4x4x4, which means for each sample of lightness I got one sample of the two color difference signals. I hope this makes sense. And Cursibu agrees, pixels gotta be sharp. Exactly, because otherwise there is no point in pixel art. We can just call it washed out blobs art. Right, so this is in very broad strokes the technical background. There are of course different kinds of sampling. 4x2x2 is actually very good, and this is also more or less digital broadcast standard, because Blu-rays, for example, get encoded I think still in H.264, and there is maybe it's 4x2x1, which means for every 4 sample of luminosity, there's the camera, you get just one sample of color information, because if an image is like UHD 4K, you also really don't see it, right? But again, the smaller the screen goes, the heavier the compression is perceptible, right? Then of course, yeah, there is what is VHS was sometimes called 4x125x0. So it means that you got maybe like a little thumbnail of the color information with VHS. But yeah, this is just theoretical, right? Okay, so this is the problem. And so this lossless quality, again, it records in 4x2x2, which is good enough for most standards, but not for me, because yeah, I'm a quality nerd. And I spent the longest time just going here under advanced, where you can set different recording and different recording types, and we get, for those who know, FFmpeg, which is a super powerful library, command line library, where you can convert from pretty much any format to pretty much any format. You just know how to write there the command line video encoder settings. For example, you could say constant bitrate is 5000, and you want your frame rate, overridden frame rate, to 30, and the scale is 1980 by 1080, and so on and so forth. You could have your video encoder settings. I mean, it doesn't make any sense what I typed in right now. But yeah, forget all this. You don't have to worry about this, because this is something, this is where I thought, what I had was, I tried all kinds of different weird formats, and I thought, why is this 4x2x2? This codec should support 4x4x4. Okay, now here comes the kicker. What you have to do to record in this RGB lossless 4x4x4 is you go to advanced, and there is the color format, and NV12 means it's 4x2x2. And if I set this to I444 or 420 or I444, this is what you want. The rest color space is BT709. This is the broadcast color space, and the color range is partial. This is also correct because this is the video color range and not the expanded lightness color or lightness and color range of TVs. I'm not getting into this right now because I don't think that this is the place. But yeah, this is the important thing is if you really want to record super sharp, super crisp pixels, set the color format to I44. It will complain here that you should stream at NV12 because the streaming services don't really expect this kind of lossless compression or this kind of chromatic subsampling. So this is the one caveat that you have. But if you're just recording for yourself, you can use OBS, and essentially this color. If only I would have known a couple of years back, because this was the main reason why I got myself Bandicam to record everything, because Bandicam supports lossless 4x4x4 recording out of the box, and this was my main reason why I got this. So yeah, long story short, I hope this made a little bit of sense to the not so technically inclined. Automated Unicorn has a sip of water. Yeah, so should I. So should I. Thank you, Automated Unicorn and Lady Mistleaf. Wonderful liquid. Right, so this was, in a nutshell, what I should have been doing, and not spent like 6 hours or probably just doing tests with various formats, and I even delved into the source code of OBS. Yeah, it was a wild ride, and it was not very successful, because how did I learn that I should click on advanced? This was when I was completely frustrated, and I googled for OBS can't record 4x4x4, and this was, I think, the second or even first search result. So yeah, always ask Dr. Google first. Right, okay, so finally, which brings us to our second part, is making a Steam shop page and what goes into everything, and where we'll be doing some nice drawing thingies, because I really want it to look crisp and nice. I'm not looking to sell my game for all the bucks that there are in the world, just maybe €5 or something, or €4, who knows. And I want the shop page to look relatively polished, so that people don't think, it's just crap, it's just the usual pixel crap or asset flip or something. I really want the store page to look a bit better than you would usually expect it. This is just, if you want to stick out of Steam, just be slightly above the average, and you should already be good. Okay, so a blank screen here. Maybe I should adjust the camera so that you can see some more of the unicorns back there. Maybe this was a bit too much. Yeah, this works fine. Right, okay, so Steamworks. There we go. Steamworks. Okay, so this is the Steamworks page, and again, I don't know how much I may show off this, but I think we should be fine, because I'm just a small fry, so hopefully nobody's going to sue me for this. Okay, so I got one unreleased app, and this is my Power MT game, and this is what I want to do today. And the good thing about Steamworks is they really know how to usher you through the entire thing to get your game onto Steam, what you need to do, what you should have, and so on and so forth. So it says here, release progress due to COVID, it takes a bit longer, and you need to prepare your store presence, prepare your game build, and then you can release. So what does this all entail? Essentially, this is the store presence checklist that I have to do, and the one thing that I have is developer and publisher names. Yay! I got a community icon and a client icon. So this was the Power MT icon. Let me minimize this. There we go. This is the Power MT icon that I designed and uploaded. So at least we got this going for us. Right. So let's just click and say here, see the store checklist. Okay, so it's this one here. So the cool thing is there's a little question mark and with a pop-up to tell you pretty much everything what you need to know, and you can click on it and then it tells you exactly what it expects for you. So this is when I still thought I would be releasing the game called Dissentia, trademark, and of course, yeah, this has been shelved for now, but there it says there are unpublished changes and preparing for release. So this is where do I do this? Publish, has not been published to all users. Once public, yeah. Again, I can say here I can edit and preview my Steam store page, but as always is when you do something you have to prepare it for release. This is where it lists you all the changes that you've made, because I mean, many of us are just one person undertakings, but if you're maybe a publisher or something, there are multiple people using the same Steam account where different people can contribute certain things and other people can look at the finances, and most likely necessarily not those who do the art. So pretty much everything can go through different stages where something is checked into the system but not released or not set publicly. And this is something that I sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. It's not COVID. I think I got tested. So so please excuse the weird noises. All right, Mr. Julius, redeemed unicorn. Thank you. Thank you. Let's drown poor Phil. I have to. And close that window, automated unicorn. It's cold outside. So the basic info, of course, again, you can see there is a lot of information there. It says store best practices. And this Steamworks documentation. If you are a Steam developer, you get lots of documentation, and I really urge you to look at this because it's very well documented, and there are even unlisted YouTube videos that you can access from the Steamworks documentation. So this is pretty cool. Right, okay, so the first thing that I want, of course, is to set. I mean, here I have to make sure that I'm here in my store page admin. The other thing would be the Steamworks admin, which is everything that involves the actual data exchange with the server, the Steam API, how you game, how your app interacts with Valve, with Steam on the essentially the back end. And the store, of course, is what the user will see. Also for different languages, it has support for that. So pretty much anything how you want to present your game on the store. So these are very two different or separated things, because your game can have a different name there in the store than it has on the Steamworks. So yeah, recent apps, there we go. Steamworks admin and store admin. Last time I showed you a bit of the Steamworks admin, but now here we are in the store admin. Changes can be viewed in the store beta mode. Valve must review in the preview store page before making it public. Of course, it makes sense. So I can say here, edit store page, and then I can say preview changes in store, and then I can even preview the store how it would look like. Right, okay, so let's dig in, and the first thing is, of course, I change the game name to Power, maybe without typo, Power MT. I'm the developer and the publisher, and the franchise, there is no franchise yet. I also don't have an external website yet. Even there's a Metacritic entry. This is so sad. And even Discord server URL. This is cool. So yeah, there are none yet. There are no social media links. So yeah, search keywords. Those, please enter relevant keywords that customers may use when they try to search for your game. So yeah, should be a comma separated list. Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead Zombies. You also want, when tagging, to include some sort of misspellings of common words, because if someone wants your game but doesn't know how to spell it, you really want to account for that. So these should not indicate the name of products made by other companies. Of course, you can't say, yeah, my game is like Left 4 Dead, so I tag it with Left 4 Dead, Valve, Walt Disney, Mickey Mouse, Mario, Nintendo. Of course, you can't do this. So for my game, I would say, since it's a Ludum Dare game, I just say Ludum Dare, LD, Twine, text game, Power, Power MT, Montana, Horror, Love, Lover, Lovercraft, text-based IF, and interactive fiction. I think that's good for now. So currently the supported platforms that I know that I can support are Windows. So the minimum system requirements you can have here, of course, for all the different languages you want to support. Most of the time it's really, you probably don't need to specify certain things in a different language. So for example, if I write Windows 10 here, for German, I probably don't have to localize Windows, because in German we don't say Fenster, which is the German word for Windows, which is also called Windows, right? So, and there is already the first hurdle, how to know what your minimum system requirements are. And the thing is, usually what I would suggest you is to look at what engine you're using and what version of your engine you're using and what is required to run their runtime. Finster, says Mr. Julius. Yeah, it's Fenster. It's with an E instead of an I, but very close. For my game, since it's running in nw.js and a very specific nw.js version, I will take a peek at that and have a look at what they say, what the system requirements are for running this nw.js. So let's do this. nw.js system requirements. Essentially, it's just a browser. Getting started with the documentation. What can it do? Write an example. What's next? It's based on Chromium and Node.js. So you probably need something that can run Chromium and Node.js. So probably a computer from 4 years ago should be fine for running this game. Maybe even further down. So it's since on one hand it's just a browser-based game. In this case, it's an HTML5 game. But the other thing is that I'm using background videos running, and I want them to play smoothly. So I would say a computer from, let's say, 2015 or earlier should be fine. So how to get this? What kind of chips or CPUs were supported 5 or 6 years ago? So common CPUs of 2015. And this is how I do best-selling CPUs. What CPUs? The most common CPUs. Let's have a look at this. This looks good. Or CPU benchmark. I'm the one who rejects all the cookies, unless of course it's a real-life cookie. Those I never reject. So let's have a look at the CPUs. Is there a way of how to sort this by year? Because last 90 days, this is not very helpful. Thanks also for feeding the unicorn a cookie. It's an oats cookie because it loves oats. Okay, so this was not very helpful. Best-selling CPUs of 2015, Prozessoren 2015, release dates of desktop processors. The other thing is, would you refuse a unicorn cookie? Of course not. I mean, if it's a unicorn cookie, probably not. No. I don't think I ever refused a cookie. I mean, unless from dubious websites. Right. The other thing that I could try is Steam Hardware Survey 2015. Because if you're on Steam, there are different, I think every year you can say you want to participate in their hardware survey, and then it benchmarks your computer and then sends the reports to Steam, and you can also have a look at the Steam, at those findings. And here we got something from 2015, legitimate interest, my ass. I'm really sorry, but there is nothing legitimate about your interest in my ass. This doesn't make sense. So hardware and software results. Okay, so this is just a site that pipes me over to Steam, but with some cookies grabs my... And here are we from October 2021. This is not super helpful. This is not super helpful. Click line item for more details. Steam hardware survey. Let's try this. October or just 2015. Steam part, October 2021. I just clicked the first one. Look at the Steam survey results from November 2015. This should be good. Yeah, here we are. Okay, good. So finally there is something that I could say are my minimum requirements, system requirements. Okay, so I would think, does Node.js run under Windows 7 64-bit? I mean, ideally I would have to test it, but people will probably, I mean, the worst thing that you can say is when you have your when Steam asks you what kind of, where is my tab? I think it's in the other browser. There we go. The worst thing is if your minimum system requirements are too low and people can't play your game, because they sure will tell you. So right, yeah, let's just look at the hardware survey. Okay, so I would say Windows 10 should be fine. The processor, that's the biggest problem. So let's say just a genuine Intel, AMD, up to, let's say 2.3 gigahertz or something. Intel dual core 2.3 gigahertz with how much memory? System RAM 1 gig, so 8 gig system RAM. Let's say it doesn't need a lot of system RAM, so I would say 2 gig system RAM, and doesn't need a broadband internet connection. Do I need a DirectX version? No. Do I, disk space? This is a good question. Disk space. So I would say 500 megabytes for now. This is just a random guess right now, but of course you can always change it, but it's just something that you should be thinking of. So sound card, again, it's really hard because everything is based there on NWJS. So let's try this again. Maybe we can find out a bit more about what it needs to run. So help, documentation, bugs, GitHub, available on Linux. Yeah, source protection, this is good. Call modules directly. Yeah, this is really for web developers. I mean, the documentation, we already have it up. Maybe in the wiki we can find something. Okay, it's just a wiki on GitHub. Features list for simplified Chinese, getting started, tutorials, how to open a window, using different node modules, security, sample applications, Chinese document-based English wiki for Chinese users. This is cool. For Korean, library reference, advanced. System, no, there is no require. This is super hard. This is super hard that we can't really say what we need. Okay, so let's take this one step back. NWJS is based on Node.js and WebKit. So let's say, right, first, which NWJS version am I running? You're probably asking, or am I using to build my game? That's actually a good question. I have no idea. I've forgotten this. Let's have a look at my build script, because in there it should be the Steam SDK 142, and there we have Node.js. It's 3.3.3. Okay then. So let's have a look at what this uses, what kind of WebKit it uses. So GitHub NWJS, repositories NWJS, sources maybe. Does this make sense? I mean, it's really hard to know what this relies on. You know what? I'm stupid. Just minimum requirements NWJS. Maybe someone already had the problem. System requirements GitHub. I can't find a list of supported platforms by version. Will it run on Macs? Windows XP supported now. This was from 2015, so this should be good. The supported OSs are those in Chromium and iOS JS support. Yeah, good questions. Can we attach the minimum system requirements to each release for the versions of both Chromium so that someone using any release will know what release it supports? Exactly, this is where I am at. Thank you from Lunar Cloud from 2016. And yeah, this was pretty much just some upvotes. I can upvote this, but apparently there is still... Yeah, so this is still problematic. Package and distribute, maybe it's there under... So prepare your app, prepare NWJS, use a different flavor or build it from the source code. Hell no, I don't know how to build something from the source code. Then packages, plain files, zip files, platform-specific steps, Linux, Mac OS references, wiki of more tools for packaging your app. Yeah, this is not very helpful. This is really not very helpful. Okay, so with graphics, I would say have problems, only find open issue report. Exactly. I mean, and the issue report is from 5 years ago, so clearly no one gave this a lot of thought, right? So what I can say for the recommended system, let's say Windows still 10, quad core. I mean, it's not. Let's say AMD or Intel dual core. There we go. Quad core, 3.1 not megahertz, gigahertz. There we go. Graphics. I mean, let's have a look at WebKit. Let's have a look at minimum requirements. WebKit. Since this is running Chromium, WebKit.org by Safari. Blah blah blah. Get started, report bugs, documentation. Maybe it's under documentation. How to report bugs. No. Contribute. Optimizing JavaScript. Yeah, this is so super unhelpful. WebKit. Maybe here on Wikipedia. WebKit ist eine freie HTML-Rendering-Engine, mit deren Hilfe Webseiten in Webbrowsern dargestellt werden können. Okay. Is from blah blah blah. Trolltext, Qt. History. Let's switch over to English. Maybe there's a different... I mean, this is the cool thing if you're multilingual, at least with me bilingual. The cool thing is if I don't like what's in one wiki page, I try the different language, because with Wikipedia there's always very high varying content, and depending on what languages you are is clearly indicated by this page. So operating system... Open sourcing, WebKit 2 installed base, forking by Google components. Who knows? Really, who knows? Graphics, yes. Graphics, yes. Let's refer to the Steam hardware survey. Is there anything in terms of graphics cards? This is super not helpful. This is super not helpful. Okay, Steam hardware survey, maybe here. I thought that would be going much smoother. So can we click this? Yes, okay, this is still a still image from 2015. I mean, I'm pretty sure that Valve or Steam saves or retains somewhere their previous hardware surveys, but yeah. Okay, so in 2015 there was a lot of NVIDIA graphics cards and ATI and Intel. So this is good, so we can say just an NVIDIA graphics card or DirectX 10. What do we have here? The blue thing is a DirectX 10 GPU and Windows 7. So yeah, let's go with graphics DirectX 10 compatible. Or maybe even DirectX 9 compatible. Who knows, right? Who knows? I mean, if once this game gets released, maybe I can try it on someone or on my parents' very old notebook, and then we will know. But for now, it's just sound card DirectX 10 compatible. Additional notes. Yeah, this is... Who knows? DirectX version 10. I'm just saying DirectX 10. I don't really know it. So release dates coming soon. or show a custom string instead of the actual release date. This will be available with the Steam release date. You can optionally select the short form date or custom text below, or the custom text when it's done. Right? Adult content. No, I don't have adult content. I think. You know what? Let's make sure. Maybe there is some violence. Maybe this should be mature. Viridian Game says, what game is this? Sorry, I just joined. Welcome, and it's about my game that is called Power MT, which will be just a revamped version of my interactive fiction game that I made for Ludum Dare 40-something, was it even 40-something? And yeah, this is the current state of affairs of what it looks like right now. This is the Steam version. I mean, this was just the main menu. This is the old game. By the way, this is inverted so that I know that it's loading the correct resources. And this is, oh look, I just got an achievement. So the achievements are still working. And this is essentially the game where you have to maneuver yourself through the town of Power in Montana and somehow make your way out there, and you don't survive when you take the front door, and then it's game over and you survived for 9 turns and got -1 points. My god, what a bad game. Right, so this is the game that I want to put on Steam. Once it's done, right now I'm still, like I said, I'm revamping and essentially just expanding it a lot, and I want to bring this onto Steam. And yeah. Oh, Hex, yeah! Man, I love seeing LD games turn into real games. I've been obsessed with Inscription. Have you been obsessed with Inscription? Because so have I. And I've just lost the eye, and I leave it at that, so no spoilers to anyone. Okay, does your game contain major content or themes? This is a good question. So, includes games with content as graphic violence. It's not graphic violence. Frequent nudity. There's no nudity, sexual content, or other mature topics. I don't few example products. Okay, so Counter-Strike, Red Dead Redemption, Cyberpunk, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, it's probably none of that. So I would say, I mean, you can't be sure. So let's say yes, and then make sure what kind. Please describe for customers mature content in your game, especially depictions of sexual acts and or violence. Graphic descriptions of violence, because there's this one scene where you slip on a red rag and it turns out it's someone's skin who was recently scalped. So violence, let's say this. Frequent violence and gore. Well, frequent, yeah, let's continue. Extremely violent or gory content. You may not be probable. Like Counter-Strike, like New World, like Battlefield, like Rust. But I don't think so. So how do we access the mature content in your game? How to get to seeing the mature content? Not information is for review purposes and only be visible to the review theme. There is a certain map or a certain scene. We need our character to reach a certain level or rank to unlock the content. I will leave this for now. Maybe I just save it what I have here. But yeah, it's something that's also on my list is maybe provide the Steam review team with just a link when they click it, or enter a cheat code in the game so that they can instantly access the most violent part of the game. This would be cool. Be unsettable until you realize other people are selling text adventures on Steam. Exactly. So I'm not. I mean, yeah. This was the entire point of Power MT, right? To make a game that's literally unsellable because there are no text games on Steam, and I know this because I haven't done my research. So yeah, I mean, I thought right now, so sure, why not? I could try to sell my game. I mean, why not? If I sell it like 3 or 5 times, I'd be already happy, because I would say, yeah, there are still people think who for that it's for them, and there's a niche for pretty much every taste on Steam. So this is what I like about Steam. Was that the real quote? Almost. Right, let's get back to where I was. So supported languages. Currently, it's only interface and subtitle. I'm full audio. There is nothing. Yeah, it's just the interface in English. Players. It's a single player game, and supported features. This is cool. So I support Steam achievements, well, captions, well, it's maybe Steam Cloud, async game notifications, remote play on phone, remote play on tablet, includes level editor, source SDK, stats, maybe I will include stats, Steam leaderboards, commentary. This would be nice, right? If to have a text adventure and then have some commentary. So maybe I will leave, you know what, I will leave stats out and activate it when I'm really sure that I will have stats in there. For example, stats are like when you keep track of certain things that a player achieves over time. So for example, how many turns they take. Okay, so the primary genre is used to display the navigation breadcrumbs. Okay, so the primary genre. Indie, but I mean, it's, let's say it's an adventure, and then there are 5 tags. So tag my title, and it opens this new tag wizard. Let's begin, because this is something that's super important to find the right tags, because you want to have too much competition in the very niche that you carve out for yourself. Let's make this full screen. So yeah, this is the wizard, and from what I've heard is that sometimes you have to really look over what it actually does, because sometimes it just muddles the profile of your game. So 1 or 2 top level genres. So I would say it's an adventure, and it's casual, strategy, action, it's certainly not. So maybe casual adventure, because I'm thinking about the potential target demographics. So this is also something that you should be aware of very early, is who your game is for. If you say it's for everyone, I mean, this is very commendable on one hand, but you really, I mean, if you make something that's to the taste of pretty much everyone, you get something without any profiles at all. I mean, big blockbusters where you think, yeah, it's an okay movie, but it's something what I call a parking space movie, because once you're back at your parking space, you forgot pretty much the entire plot of the movie. So, and when I say, my top level genres are casual and adventure, I think those players wouldn't be turned off when seeing a text-only game with just some mild illustrations. For example, if I say strategy as one of my top-level genres, I would get players who think, okay, this is a text-based game. I'm not really interested in text-based games. Maybe it's super hard on the strategy part, which it will be not. So I think this is essentially communication is the biggest point, or about your game, or what you promise users and how much you fulfill the promises that you have. Because if someone buys your game and it's not what they thought it would be, they are pissed, they write your bad review, and they return the game and talk bad about you on social media. So in the worst case, all 3 of those. So what you want is you want to set the expectations just right, that they have a great time with your game, and if you can excel and even exceed, that's the word, exceed their expectations, of course this is good. But then again, you don't want to say, yeah, my game is an action simulation software sports game, so that I get everyone to look at my game, because most of these people will say, it's not a sports game, this is text and it doesn't have anything to do with sports, and I paid good money just to see where the sports is and I hate it. So again, this is why I want to have something that's closer to what people that aren't turned off by just text games. Andrew says, looking up other IF on Steam, see what they put. So the people get recommended similar to other text adventures they play. This is an excellent recommendation. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go to Steam powered, right? Steam powered. There we go. Welcome to Steam. And just have a look at interactive, or you know what, I just start with 80 days, because this is a game that I adore. And then it's from Inkle, so if you haven't played it, it's always good to check out the competition, what they are doing, and what you can learn from them. And it's also good to look at something where clearly something doesn't work, and if you can put your finger on what does not work with someone else's game, this is already, of course, beneficial to you. Or maybe Her Story. This is also a good idea. I haven't played Her Story. It's still on my pile of shame. So how to get to the tags. I mean, look at this. Windows XP Plus. 2 GHz with SSE2 instruction set support. This is some great system requirements. Hardware support for Shader Model 3. Intel Iris equivalent or better. You know why this is great? Because this doesn't speak to the gamer, hardcore gamer with their Nvidia and AMD monsters. No, this actually is about onboard graphics. So if your game can work with onboard graphics, also here DirectX version 9C. Maybe I should also make it with 9 version C. Yeah, sound card present. Exactly. This is something that would be great if it's just present. Okay, so I've already learned something. But am I still here? No, it just threw me all the way around. Anywho, let's get back to the tags. Because it's not so easy to learn how something is tagged, but I mean, you get here the popular user-defined tags for this product, which can be boon and bane at the same time. Because if a lot of people tell you, say that a game is indie, and I think there is some sort of stigma with games being indie, because many low-performing games are on Steam touting themselves to be as indie games, and this just muddles the pool essentially for other indie games, and they get thrown into the pool of, this is just someone's first Hello World game that they put on Steam. I mean, I'm exaggerating over here, but in the long run it hurts you more. So this is what I've read somewhere in an article, is to always clean up your tags, if your user tags, because you also can remove user tags that aren't correct. So I would definitely say that it's an adventure, story-rich, choices matter. And look at this, even strategy, because you have to strategize which route to take and what kind of supplies or items you take with you. So it's not really hard on strategy, it's just something thrown in there just to spice it up. Right side lower, near the long description. Awards, read more. This is just the awards. 80 days, release date, view the website, view discussions. I mean, we can look it up on Steam Spy, right? Steam Spy. It's less relevant than it was a couple of years back before Steam made this big crackdown, but please, by reading data accuracy, exactly. It's not that accurate, but we're not that much here for the numbers. Yes, I still have my login data. This is nice. So let's just 80 days. Right, so around the world in 80 days, this is the one that I want. Dev-defined tags are called genre for some. Oh, okay, so there we go. So adventure, storage. By the way, is this the number of times this was clicked, attributed to it, or is this just a number in a catalog or something? It looks to be like how many people said that this user tags that this was story rich. Okay, indie, strategy, choose your own adventure, interactive fiction, replay value, multiple endings, steampunk, exploration, single player, relaxing, casual, atmospheric, great soundtrack, romance, funny, open world. Open world, this is cool, short. So got a lot of followers. This is super cool. And of course, audience, concurrent user state. My God, look at this. This game is from 2014, I think. Phineas Fogg. Release date, okay, 2015, and it still got this many users playing it. It's just a text game. Look at this. This is just, I mean, of course, this is something that's, of course, the outlier. You can't take this as your metrics at the point that you're shooting for. This is like saying, yeah, I want to build a car manufacturing business like a BMW, right? You can't take their metrics for your game because you just started out. But look at this hourly Twitch stats. So there are apparently someone played it, like a couple of people played it. There's a big streamer. These are not so big streamer, and there's a huge big streamer who just played it. This is super interesting. Right, but I've learned something there from just looking at the competition. So I would go with adventure and casual. I think this is good. Andrew says, yes, these are user-defined numbers. Okay, yes, I fumble. You are correct. Number of times tag was assigned. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. Okay, select one or two genres to describe your title. It's a 2D, 3D fighter, of course. So the brighter ones in the list are common among titles with top-level genres similar to yours and may be more relevant than others. Yes, maybe, but then again, there are many, let's say, casual action RPGs, but there aren't as many casual animation and modeling software. So if someone is looking for this kind of combination and your game can deliver it, of course, it's always important that you're not promising something that your game doesn't deliver, right? I think this should be at the heart of it. But if you have something of a very special niche, I mean, there is less competition there. And we all know, if someone of you have read the book The Long Tail, I think it's almost 10 years old or so. So essentially, for those who don't know, The Long Tail, if you're looking at bar graphs of bar charts or something, maybe if I can just say long tail, not running, just long tail. Yeah, lots of trains there. Chart. Oh, it's long train. long tail, not long trail. There we go. So this is here with number of the biggest sellers in your genre, right? Because a Call of Duty will, or a new FIFA game or whatever, they will sell massive amounts of numbers. But especially if you're, for example, if you're Amazon, it also, in the long run, it pays if you stock something that is super niche, because this tail here gets super long, and it doesn't stop here, but it goes just so much longer, and in the end this long tail is even more profitable than just the highest 3 or top grossing titles, for example. So even if there are not many people interested in you, there will be a certain demographic that is interested in what your game has to offer. The thing is just to make them aware of your game so that they know where you can find it. Hope this made sense. Okay, so let's start at the bottom. So visual novel, it's not that. Utilities, turn-based strategy, maybe. Tower defense, sandbox shooter, no. Rhythm platformer, point and click, photo editing, like interactive fiction. I think it's interactive fiction. Yeah, let's go with that. And subgenres. Okay, so it's choose your own adventure, I would say. Visuals and viewpoint. Text-based, I think. I will have just some illustrations, but it's mostly text-based. Themes and moods, my god. So there we go. America will be America. And what else capitalism, conspiracy. You know what? Maybe America, conspiracy. Well, people will going to love this. Dark. I mean, again, you can see here, like it says here, the brighter ones are common. So something like America is not that common with this kind of game. So maybe there is already a niche that I have found here. Detective is quite strong. Dog, dragons, dinosaurs, diplomacy, something. If you have a text game that's about dogs, I mean, you got a niche, right? Dystopian, faith, family, fishing, flight. Well, it's about you fleeing something. So probably this is not what flight there. It probably means just aerospace. Anya says, yeah, my experience, the problem is not people wanting to play your game, whether it is the problem people knowing it exists. Exactly. So this is this thing where it's just drowning in a sea of crap, essentially. And you need, like I said, it helps if you just barely above the average and you already got an edge. So Illuminati, interesting, for some reason Illuminati is very high on this. Loot, Lovecraftian. I mean, Lovecraftian Americans conspiracy. I think maybe conspiracy. I think this is one of the themes that's running through my game, but it's not very explicit. So maybe I can find something that's better matching, or also between those high-ranking themes there. Maybe there is something that's more apt and descriptive. Off-road, old school, otome, parkour, parody, philosophical, pirates, post-apocalyptic programming. Racing, robots, satire, monsters, skiing, science. Did I just say monster? I wanted to have their monster stealth. Supernatural, swordplay, tactical, thriller. vampire underwater. Maybe I can find something there with monster. Mini modern mystery. Maybe mystery. Maybe mystery, so I will take off conspiracy. For mystery, yeah. Depressing read, actually. And it says, yeah, I have a weekly email subscription that shows exactly the sheer depth and thickness of that crap layer. This is just this depressing read. So not this list here. I thought this is a depressing read because there is so much like werewolves and supernatural out there. But yeah, I agree. If you look at just the sheer amount of games that gets released, and the sad thing about this is, yeah, of course it's a lot of crap, but you don't know what. Maybe there are. I'm quite sure that every month comes out 1 or 2 games that I would be just dying to play if I only knew that they existed, and I would have them on my radar somehow. This is why I'm quite happy that I follow a lot of game devs on Twitter, just so that maybe something that is completely in my ballpark gets released by them. But it's really. You can't know, and this is the hardest part to get to your audience. Okay, so players, this should be easy. Brighter ones, so players, choices matter. Character customization, conversation, female protagonist, artificial estimate. Okay, so grid-based movement, hack and slash, inventory management. Well, it's multiple endings, I would say. Permadeath. I would say resource management, because it's about managing the power that you have in your phone. My biggest problem is, and I'm probably very prophetic by this, but after all, this is Pixel Prophecy speaking, is I think my mechanics won't be that fleshed out. Mostly because they weren't in the original. I got some ideas to add to this, but yeah, I probably have a question for you later on in terms of the mechanics. But let's finish here. Okay, so features: text-based, multiple endings, resource management, time manipulation, turn-based tactics, tutorial. I thought, you know what, that I will have a tutorial in a text game of how to play actually a text game. So I keep this checked, and I'm sorry if I'm already making some weird smacking noises. Right. Select any relevant, okay, single player. This is all I got. And other tags. Okay, these are additional tags been applied to Steam by other users. None defined, search to add here. Okay, so what do we want to add? Montana, maybe. Is there Montana? There is not. Demons, monsters, it's demons. So again, I want to have something that is maybe phone, cell phone, okay, mobile, automobile sim, or it's a mobile. Yeah, this doesn't also make sense. I want to have something here that's as people say, the X factor, the unexpected, the one that turns it around. But I think I already have it here with a Lovecraftian mystery in America. Precision platformer. It's, let's say, text-based, interactive fiction, mystery, alternate history, arena shooter, choices matter, cute detective. Andrew says, to finish my little rant, 245 games released last week. My god, of those 10 broke 1,000 reviews barrier. That includes Battlefield 2042 and the new Halo and Paradox game. So 14 more broke 100 reviews. Yeah, it's this huge disparity between what gets actually noticed, but if it gets noticed, most likely the interesting part would be to somehow cross-reference this with how much marketing was done for those things. Because I think if you're not extremely lucky and to gain some word of mouth trajectory through a streamer or on TikTok or who knows what, you probably get buried. Because this is what was true of motion pictures, is that the rule of thumb goes that if a film is said to have a budget of like 320 million, you can double this for all the marketing expenditures. So if a movie costs 200 million to make, it needs to gross 400 million before it starts to reap in some profits, right? So the thing is, you as an indie dev, you probably don't have the sheer amount of money to spread the message of your game of where people are. Because the problem is, I think this is especially relevant to indies. You can't compete with the big companies. Of course, I mean, there's always the urge to appear to outside players who don't know who Pixel Prophecy is, where I get an email and say, "Dear sirs and madams of Pixel Prophecy Games," and I think, oh my god, this is nice. They think I'm this huge game designing operation, but it's just me, this one person doing it in my free time, right? But then again, the problem is, if you want to appear too corporate, you start to get in competition with the actual corporations, and you don't want to go ahead against Activision, Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, one of the big ones, right? You really don't. I mean, they are just steamrolling over everything. So if you think you can, if you just collect all the money that you have from all your parents, do you think, yeah, we'll launch this one TV commercial? It's just one, but it's going to sell my game. Yeah, it's going to be buried under the newest Battlefield trailers, right? So yeah, what my choice would say, look at what the big corporations are doing, where they are spreading their message, where they are doing advertising, and don't do it there, because you can't win there. But what you can do is do some sort of guerrilla marketing, as it's called, where you have something that has a high impact, a big chance of snowballing, but without a lot of cost to you. But you have to be, of course, very creative, because it's one thing if your game gets thousands of eyeballs because you booked I don't know a Super Bowl commercial for millions of dollars, right? I mean, then of course it's guaranteed to be seen by millions of people. But then again, if you, I don't know, if you launch a rocket and it carves your game's name into the moon, pretty much all the TV stations all over the world will report on this, and you don't have to pay anything to them. Of course, this is not very practical, but I hope you get the general gist of it. Andrew says, but we get the lovable indie discount. Exactly, we're the lovable indie, so the little guy discount. Yeah, this should be steamrolling. All right, my god, I completely forgot that I made a horrible dad joke pun there, so thank you for reminding me. Right, so yeah, this was now my little rant. So rocket, you say, exactly. Just make some headlines, and ideally make some good headlines. I mean, it's one thing. It's Ma, I'm on television. How did that happen? Because I killed someone. Yeah, good for you. But yeah, you don't want to be. I mean, there's one thing. There is no such thing as bad publicity. But this was before the internet. Nowadays, there is such a thing as bad publicity, and you really don't. I mean, even if you want to be a bit controversial with your game, really don't overdo it, because in the end, I mean, you have to you have to play the long game. Right, so your tags at the last step, please prioritize your tags using drag and drop. Okay, so the good thing is, if there are games that are actually relevant to you or close to the game that you're playing, or not you're playing, that you're making, and you recognize some of those here, this is the best outcome, right? If there are games that you don't know, that you haven't heard of, but still games that look somewhat high in quality. For example, this one, DO11, this doesn't look to be the highest quality. For one thing is that this is the Comic Sans font, and you don't want Comic Sans your font. But for example, the Innsmouth case, this looks, I mean, just from this little capsule image, this looks Lovecraftian horror survival game to me. And with this illustration there, it looks kinda expensive, like a double I indie production. And of course, we always have the ubiquitous Death Becomes You, the ubiquitous visual novels. So I would say let's try I put interactive fiction first. Where is interactive fiction? It's gone. No, it's first there. So I would say interactive fiction adventure, or choose your own adventure. And from that, I think, because interactive fiction is the most important part, because if you're not into text games, but if you are into zombies, you probably won't play a zombie game. For example, I'm not into sports, but I love highly graphical, amazing games with amazing graphics and then super art style. I mean, even if the next, I don't know, FIFA soccer game looks like from the art design of World of Warcraft. I'm probably not going to play it. I will look at the images, but I'm not going to play it. So this is how I would sort these tags. What was that interactive fiction about the ship in Game Boy Color palette? The ship. Oh, right. The Return of the Obra Dinn. This was, I don't think even it was not the Game Boy Color palette, but it was even from the first Macintosh. It was just this 1-bit style, but in those subdued greens, right? I haven't played this one. I mean, I've played it for like an hour or so, 1.5 hours. Still have to finish it. But yeah, this would be something. I mean, this is also an investigative game. So a single player tutorial, resource management, I mean, tutorial is not that important. Mystery, Lovecraftian, I mean, America should be very high there. So there, the funny thing is that you can see that the prioritization changes. So what, for example, if I say Lovecraftian is the most important thing, we get the Innsmouth case again. So it's not, Lovecraftian is not that important. Resource management, maybe important, more important. So there it's Kyle is famous. So those don't really change much, right? The actual titles, only their relevance. So for example, let's have a look at The Last Will. What the hell is The Last Will? And this doesn't look like to be a text-based game. I mean, it looks, I really like the art style. It looks very good in this low poly style. But where do we have, the genre is adventure and casual. So I mean, this already looks quite polished, even for a small game. So maybe, I mean, you always have to ask yourself the questions. Are people who are playing these games, how likely are they to enjoy your game? For example, here, Hunter's Journals, Tattered Sails. I mean, this looks good. It's text-based. It got some nice illustrations. It got 1 user review. My God, this is so sad. But it got released on Halloween, so it's not that bad. So Tattered Sails, let's have a look there. Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft. I haven't heard of that game, but it's free and it's a VR game. So of course, if something is free and VR, it's overwhelmingly positive. You know what this reminds me of? Actually, the Call of Cthulhu, the game that came out, I think 1 or 2 years back. Even just there from the architecture of this hospital. Anyway, I mean, it's a free-to-play game. You can't compete with something that's free. Rate a text game higher interactive fiction. Yeah, you know what? Interactive fiction, text-based. Let's do this. What if I say text-based is the most important, and then there we have interactive fiction, right? Still doesn't change a lot there. But what is this? The Peresmeshnik. The Peresmeshnik. Look at this. This looks a lot like how my game would look, and it's a very positively received game. It is said that in the last frontier is space, but the crew of the Soviet frigate, the Peresmeshnik, is about to discover that the sea still hides a terrifying secret waiting to be found. I mean, this is a good text. It got achievements there, and yeah, overall, people are very happy with this game. So the amount of people who recommend your game, again, this is how well you communicate that your game meets their expectations. So if I look at this, again, I'm not expecting to play Alien Isolation. I'm expecting to play a Twine game, because this looks a lot like a Twine game with this. I'm quite sure that this is a Twine game, right? So then next thing is, how much are they going to charge for it? And look at this, free to play. This is quite disheartening to say, because I think you could sell this for money, even if it's just like $1, because there are games like a carton of milk inside a carton of milk inside a carton of milk. It costs, I think, 85 cents. So it's nothing that I think, should I really buy this? Can I afford this? It's something that, yeah, okay, I'm interested. You've piqued my interest enough. It's just $1. But at the end of the day, if 20 people think it's spend $1 on it, at the end of the day, you got like 10 euros out of it after taxes and Steam takes their cut and so on. So in the end, even if you think it's not really worth something, you should still charge something for it, in my opinion. So yeah, this looks like very relevant to my game. So if you probably enjoy this game, you probably will also enjoy my game. With Dagon, probably not so much, because I think this is more for people who are interested in VR. Let's have a look at this Do11. What is DO11? Okay, so this looks like, yeah, made in Unity. So this is, from what I can say, mute this now, not the best trailer. For one thing is, you got this made in Unity, which is quite a stigma for many people. I mean, we all know what is possible with Unity. I mean, you can make great games with Unity. It's not a failing of the engine that so many people, that it's so easy to make a lot of crap with Unity. But if you want to sell your game, it really doesn't tell or makes a good impression. The next one is this STR team or SJR team. This is also SJR team. Okay, this doesn't look like a very professional logo, so to me already this speaks, let's make this full screen. It already speaks a bit like, yeah, this is not a very high classy, high quality undertaking. And the next thing is, you can clearly see it here, the mouse cursor with the loading icon there. So it's not so much of a trailer, right? It's more like a gameplay, which can be fine. And okay, so the user interface also is not too good. So essentially, yeah, I'm not going to look at this much further, because the thing is, I'm not going to look at this much further, despite maybe it's mostly positive, the reviews say. So maybe this is actually quite a great and interesting game, but it's not for me, because I'm turned off from just looking at the visuals. Many people can see past the visuals, but it's just this very first impression, and it looks to me, frankly, very, amateur in a sense. And the other thing, of course, it is probably a big no-no for me, is it's in Hangul. It's Korean. So again, to many people, this sort of trash punk appeal is actually what they are looking for, right? So I'm not going to say, yeah, no one will buy this because this looks ugly, because it's just something that doesn't resonate with me. But to other people, I mean, if this is some sort of an horror game and it leans into this whole creepypasta, Reddit, urban mystery, SCP Foundation thing, I mean, this could be exactly what many people want, and it could be a hidden gem. But again, personally to me, it doesn't look like something that I would be interested in. Mockingjay in Russian, I think, says Enter. Oh, really? Is this what the Russian Perezmeshnik? My God, you know words. This is I don't know Russian. The only thing Russian that I know is "Ozdevьте меня в покое." And I think this just means leave me alone. You're watching the second video, which is usually gameplay, not a trailer, right? Says Cursey Boo. Fair enough. I've clicked it now away. I think I clicked it now away. So the second one is usually gameplay, but this is Dagon again. Oh no, I closed the wizard. Or did I close the wizard? No, there is the wizard. Let's have a look at Do11 again. Okay, so the first one is the the first one starts off exactly the same, but then again, it could be super nice, because many people complain in trailers there's not enough gameplay, so you don't actually know how the game is played. So this is also what I personally would suggest, is the first one, the trailer, where I would say lose the Unity logo, use your team logo. You can put that one at the end, because I mean, if you're not someone that's already known, for example, like Lucas Pope from the Obra Dinn and Papers, Please. But then again, even if you are as big of an indie star as Lucas Pope, only people who are interested in indie games will actually know your name. So unless, if you can say, from the makers of Call of Duty, probably no one is interested in your game just on your team name alone. So personally, I would say lose the first thing, lose the next thing, and then maybe have just some intriguing text or something. Imagine being trapped in a cell phone. Or something like this. So it would be, I would go, huh? How does that work? And then I would keep on watching. And the next one, this perfectly makes sense, that it's the actual gameplay trailer, where you just have unedited, I would say, or mildly edited gameplay of your game, so that people who are interested by the trailer can look at the gameplay. And many people, I think it's like the majority, like over 80%, just click through the screenshots and think, yeah, I've seen enough. So everything here is dark and dirty, and it's just played on this phone, and the background really doesn't change or matter a lot. This is again from just my first glance at looking at this. Right, okay, so finish my tags here. I think text-based interactive fiction, choose your own adventure. Maybe it's 3 of the same. Maybe I would go more for resource management first. And look at this, there we get a new one. What is Noct True Tales of Robin Hood? Look at this. Again, this is a text-based game with resource management, and it's received very positive, and there's even a unicorn. Okay, so I'm quite happy with how I arranged my tags. So I will just say publish. And yes, I'm quite sure that this is how I want to apply my tags. And it says it's also only in Korean. Exactly, this is what turns me off. But even if it were in English, probably not. I wouldn't be too interested in it. And Cursible redeemed unicorn. Exactly, thank you. But it bites into their audience a little. The fact that it's Korean. Exactly, yeah. So publish, did I say publish? Yes, I probably said publish with my tag wizard. So controller support, the next one. I don't have a controller, so yeah, I mean, the cool thing would be if you have native Steam controller support, your game would be ranked a bit higher, but I don't know how to make this. Maybe one day I can implement some partial controller support, but then again. Do we have a third-party DRM? No, we don't. Third-party accounts? No, we don't. Thank God. And any legal lines, so use this space to include copyright or trademark information. If you're looking to someone present the customer with an end-user license agreement, the EULA, you can do so here. Most of the time, you don't have these kind of you don't have much use for these kind of legal lines. I think with my previous game, Finesweeper, it just says all rights reserved, and I would go with that one. Again, you can look at other trademark or legal lines. The thing is, if you have your, especially when you have multiplayer and you store account data on your own servers, and then you got the end user license agreement and the data protection agreement and so on and so forth. So this is probably something that really you should think about. Then there's support contact info. So this is it's Phil. pixelprophecy.com, and support email is support@pixelprophecy.com, and I don't have a support phone number. I'm sorry. I mean, I have a phone number, but I never pick it up anyway, no matter who calls. Right, okay, so we got a lot of things here. Let's have a look over it. Supported languages, single player, tags. You have applied 12 tags. This is good. Okay, so this is essentially done. And Zealous Wombat is here. Sorry, you probably just wanted to lurk, but my automated unicorn called you out. Thank you, Wombat, for dropping by. Right, okay, so I got the basic info. I've been streaming now for 1.5 hours, and all I did was the basic info now, but I got distracted a lot. Okay, description. So what is my game about? The design and the localization. So this the localization is, of course, you can have here different languages, and my urge would be, even if you plan localizing your game, to write this just once, and once you finished your game and also you've applied the first patch or something, only then worry about localization, because the worst part is if you think you've finished the game and you've had localized in a couple of languages and you've talked or went back and forth with different people. Like if you support like 12 languages, chances are you communicate with 12 different people and have to coordinate everything, and then you change something. You just add another string to your game, or something, just you added something that also is relevant to the store, and you have to go through it all over again. So this is what I would suggest if you plan to localize your game. Plan for it as early as possible and do the actual localization as late as possible, because then again, the more changes that you have, the more it costs, because many localizers or translators have a certain fee or a base fee where they say, yeah, it costs at least 50 euros, even if it's just one additional sentence, but then again, you pay like 15 cents per word or something like that. At least that was the case with my game Finesweeper, which is available, I think, in 7 languages. And most of the localization was done by volunteers, but I think the Turkish version was from the guy who also translated Skyrim, I think, to Turkish, which I thought was really cool. And they also made me aware that my font didn't have a different I, because in Turkish you need an I without the dot and an I with a dot. So this I had to account for. Okay, so what is my game about? So this is, if we look at this the Steam store page, can we look at something here? I think this is what goes under here. You're Robin Hood. Okay, so this in here every word counts. So be as precise and short as possible as you can without promising something that your game doesn't have. So okay, you are Robin Hood, forge your destiny and fight to liberate Nottingham in this epic. Okay, what I've learned is now we are Robin Hood. This is important, and it's an epic story-driven RPG blending interactive fiction, resource management, and base building within a lushly illustrated Sherwood forest. Okay, so this is actually the meat of the burger here, and so there is not a lot wasted. I think this is a very good description line, I have to say. So let's look at maybe we can find a counterexample of something that doesn't do it as nicely, but I think from this all more like this. It's really, I mean, they all look like top sellers. Let's have a look at what Disco Elysium promises, because this would be quite something if this is bad. Okay, the final card is a groundbreaking role-playing game. So far, so correct. You're a detective with a unique skill system at your disposal, and a whole city to carve your path across. Interrogate unforgettable characters, crack murders, or take bribes. Become a hero or an absolute disaster of a human being. My god, this is so well written about what the game actually is about. Okay, so I think I'm in the mindset now of this, so let's try this. Explore the town of Power MT as a monster stalks you. I mean, this is pretty bad, but at least it's something we can start with. Okay, so what do I want to communicate? It's interactive fiction, or let's just say IF, or choose your own adventure. Choose your own adventure is quite something, so I would say path. Choose your own path through the town of Power MT with only your cell phone to aid you. This is, I think, Power Montana would be a little bit better. Yeah, this, again, I agree. Thank you so much, Montana, with only your cell phone to aid you. While being hunted by a nebulous monster, escape, defeat the monster, escape, or find your doom in this interactive fiction game. Okay, I think I probably could do better as this. Maybe there is something that I could streamline, but for now I think it's good. So for the first mention in Power Montana, says Ender, yeah, this makes sense, because if you're not familiar with what MT means, yeah, this is the joke essentially. So okay, let's examine it like someone who has no idea what this is about. Choose your own path. Okay, so I can choose my own path. There are different paths through the town of Power Montana. Okay, so this is the title. This is what the game is set with. Only your cell phone as aid. Okay, maybe this could be a bit confusing. With only your cell phone, the abilities of your cell phone to your aid or something. Only with your cell phone. Yeah, I just keep it as it is now. As aid what to aid you as with only your cell phone as tool. Let's stick tool and then come back to it. While being hunted by a nebulous monster. So okay, I know I can make my own path. I'm being hunted by a monster, so something I need to do about the monster. Defeat the monster. Okay, maybe we can. I have here twice the monster. While being hunted. Defeat the monster. Escape the peril. Escape peril or find doom in this interactive fiction game. I think, yeah, I don't think I can get this any shorter. And again, maybe I will revise this, maybe I will come back to this, but for now, this is kind of good. Okay, so let's have another look at Disco Elysium. What do they say here in the short description? So the cool thing about this is that you can upload your own images, your own little separators here, which again, the first time when you see it, it looks quite something. I mean, it doesn't look like it's something that's really cheaply done or anything. Again, to me, this looks like quality. If it's in the same style as the rest of your game, and from what I can see, the color palette is, of course, matching. It looks like it belongs there, and it's not just some quickly click together word art or something. So let's have a look maybe at another game. How does The Forgotten City does this? And again, you probably would see here, yeah, they just tell about their game, all the awards that they have gotten. So I would say I open this image in a new tab and copy it. Why do I copy it? So that I know how wide it is, so that I can make my own header sections. And finally, I can do something there with Photoshop. So how wide is this? This is 610 pixels wide. And so I think I can take this as a measurement for my separators there. So I didn't have to paste this thing. Okay, so the next thing is you want, of course, everything on your page to look as coherent as possible. Again, if we look at here, The Forgotten City, you got this golden font that's throughout. You can see it here in the trailer. There are multiple different trailers apparently, and they are well edited, so you can see that what a lot of the things that are in the game, what is happening. So many videos there, and then very pleasing looking screenshots, and even some with UI. I mean, there also is this one thing. Do you want your screenshots without UI because it looks much more like a painting, like a photograph? It's much more prettier essentially. But me as a player, I want to say, okay, what do I actually see in the game? Is this really a game without a user interface? I mean, this game, I think it could be, but here, okay, it looks like there is a lot going on with conversations, which actually is the case in this game. But okay, so let's have a look here. Everything is golden. There is this graphic of something happening here. It's a portal or so, and it's this Roman golden font. Also here is this Roman golden font on everything, so this looks, like I said, coherent. With Disco Elysium, as we've seen, it also looks very coherent. So what I would urge you to do is to find some sort of a title graphic of main visual, essentially, what describes the feeling of your game best, the experience. Essentially, you want to set the mood. It's like a movie trailer, right? You instantly know after a couple of seconds whether it's going to be a comedy, a fantasy, epic, or a dark and gritty thriller, right? I mean, sometimes they play it for jokes where a comedy starts off like a gritty thriller and so on, but after a trailer you have a good idea about what movie you're going to watch, right? And you want the same thing for your Steam page, where pretty much everything looks like, it belongs together, it lives in the same world. So you don't mix fonts, you don't mix colors, I mean, you don't add new colors to your color scheme. I mean, So how do we do this? What is your key visual? As for my game, I think you've seen it when I launched it before. I mean, this is already the Steam version. Let's close some of the tags here and tabs here. This is my key visual, I would say. The town sign, and then this fog, and then there is this something. Let's make this full screen. There is something going on in the distance. So I think this somewhat dirty and grimy and grungy town sign is really my key visual for Power MT, and I'm quite happy actually with how this looks in the Ludum Dare version. Let's Power MT game. There we go. By the way, the flashing background is awesome. So thank you so much, Anja. That was a lot of work. Well, a couple of hours in After Effects to animate this. So what I like about this title graphic that I've chosen here is essentially it tells a lot of the story. So there is this dark fog coming, and this is it's a smoke. Is it a fog? You can't really say. Then of course Power MT. This is the name of the game, but also it's a town sign. Okay, so you know it's some sort of township, and then there is this light source of a flashlight. So you see there's something sinister going on, and there in the end is this water tower that's being struck by lightning. And if you've played my game and you know that the monster who's stalking you is actually eating lightning or electric power, hence the name of the game. So pretty much everything that's important to the game is already in this capsule in there. So I think I will go with something that looks very much like this. I'm not quite sure about whether I really want to keep the water tower in the capsule, so forth. But what I have I can show you the video again. Where do I have it? Movies. There we go. In the title animation. So what's going on there in the background? Let me just freeze frame when there is lightning. Yeah, there is this corn elevator. I just skipped past it. There we go. There is this corn elevator and the power lines, which I think are also telling some sort of, I mean, it looks a bit like the Bates Motel. Maybe there should be a bit more fog in the background that you can actually see the silhouette of this thing. But yeah, I think this is essentially this road with the fog over it, that this should be my key visual. So this is an After Effects composition. If you're interested in how this looks in After Effects, I can demonstrate you project files, images. Do I have it here under images? No. Assets, I think I put it here under videos. Yeah, there we go. Setups, After Effects, main menu animation. There we go. And I think from this composition, because like I said, it's in After Effects and I can move my camera around should I want to. I can take slightly different angles should I need them to. And this is, I think, what I will do now to do my capsules and my key visuals. Once After Effects is finished loading. Yeah, it's a quite big project, relatively. Yeah, you can see these are the layers, and here on top this is the entire lightning animation going on there. Why don't I see anything? Oh, probably because it has to render everything. But yeah, if I crank up the exposure, you can see that this in the background is this corn elevator there. But it's a curious thing actually. How this works. I had to research it because also I want it in the game. And there's one thing that's always bugging me, so now you will probably see too, that these power lines, they are just floating. They float, Billy! So if I turn down the exposure, it's pretty much black, but in the game, if you see it, if you pay attention, yeah, this is not what I wanted. If you pay attention, you can see that it's actually floating. Also, I'm quite happy with how I managed to get the smoke, the billowing fog there, essentially seamless for 30 seconds and then to loop. Because if we are here on the last frame of the animation, then we jump to the first frame. The only thing that jumps is there some of the smoke there in the background, which shouldn't jump, but essentially it's seamless, which I'm quite happy with. Okay, talking about things that I'm quite happy with now, since I have this as a 3D, well, it's not entirely 3D, but somewhat cascaded of just billboards essentially with transparency. I can just take screenshot there should I need them, and let me just make this a bit brighter. So for my section headers, I think I want this dark bluish background here. So I mean, I could stay at 50% and then just take a screenshot here with green shot, copy to the clipboard. And is it wide enough? Yeah, it's 900 and almost 960 pixels wide, so this should be sufficient. So then I just pick a strip here that looks kind of good, and then I see how it works if it's just there by itself. So you can see a bit here of the road. Why? Of course, now my drawing tablet is not working anymore because I'm streaming and I wanted it to work. So yeah, this is a bit of a bummer. Maybe I can, if I plug it back in. Yeah, okay, maybe this should work, I hope. Okay, so one thing that I don't like that's a bit distracting there is that you can actually see here the strip of the road, which, I mean, it's nice, but it doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't know how the rest of the image looks like. So I just say content aware fill and hope that it doesn't crash. Yeah, it looks good. And then I just fill this one in with the surrounding pixels and have it somewhat look a bit more uniform, because again, I don't want to distract from the actual text that's on top. Please use the stamping brush. What? Oh, of course, I think I'm on a new layer there and it doesn't have enough information. Don't want to close it, I just want to merge it there with the background. There we go. So content aware filling is just, I just tell it from here, from these surrounding pixels, just use whatever you can to make this as seamless as possible. And this is what Photoshop comes up with. So if we look at before and after, it does a pretty decent job. This one here is not too good because we can see here on this end here, it's very soft and there is still some sort of noise. So of course I also want to blend this together so that it's just having this wispy feel to it. Right, the next thing, like I said, is don't mix fonts, which I mean, it's of course, if you have more than one font, this should be good. I also don't like this middle thing here. If you have more than one font, this is okay. Maybe something just for headlines and another font for your standard copy. But don't choose too many different fonts. Like I said, if you can, just use two different content aware fill. Exactly, that's me. Just stick with the fonts that you've chosen, because less is more. Like I said, two fonts at maximum, one sans serif font and one with serifs, and I think that you should be good. Maybe one signature font that is super hard to read usually, but is just gives your game the character. For example, for PowerMT, where do I have it here? The font that I've used is the font that's on the American road signs. And the cool thing about this is someone went through the trouble of recreating this font, and it's called Road Geek. And this is actually from 2005. So it's an individual involved in road geeking or road enthusiasm. And there is this font, Road Geek 2005, and you can see here it comes in all different varieties and shapes, but they all belong together. So if you need something, it's called essentially a font family, in a sense that it got different kinds of variants, but they all work together because they're part of the same family, because they all work together because yeah, they're running. They're running some sort of road establishment. I don't know where I wanted to go with this joke. Okay, so of course you also don't want to have too many fonts that are looking too closely related. Essentially, I think this is important when you choose fonts. Don't, if you want to use two different fonts, don't use two fonts that look too close or too much like one another, because it's like with colors. If you have two colors that are too closely related or too close together on the color wheel, they kind of blend together and it's hard to tell them apart. And if you have more than one of two of those pairs, it looks a bit disjointed and a bit ugly and a bit noisy, and and same thing goes for fonts and pretty much anything really. Okay, so I think I still have RoadGeek installed because this will be my signature font. So let's just say here, section header, and the font that I'm currently using is the ITC Avant-Garde, and this is the one of the Filmmotion video. So this is the one that you can see down there. We can see down at the bottom of my screen. So you get your bit of Arnold there as well. Okay, so this is a nice looking font, but not the one that I want. Oh, it rhymes, isn't this nice? So I think I got RoadGeek installed. RoadGeek Blend Regular. And it made a new font layer. This is not what I wanted. My god, Photoshop is super sluggish today, probably because I'm streaming. So RoadGeek, here we go, and it's not too nice. One thing is probably because I've saying it's in all caps, so this looks a bit better. But you can see here, this is another pet peeve of mine. You can see here the spaces between the characters, they are uneven. For example, here between the C and the T, the space is a bit higher than here between the E and the C, and so on. So this looks a bit unbalanced, and this is also a sign of, typographically, this is called kerning. Is this space between the letters, how much they overlap, because you really want to make sure that everything looks nice and balanced. And this again is a pet peeve of mine, where I when I see something like this, especially when you have letters like A and V, and then maybe something viso or so, or aware, and the space between the A and the W or the A and the V, there is something where with most fonts you can instantly spot if this is much too wide or much the space is too wide. So again, this is something that I want to mitigate, and the thing how you can do this in Photoshop is you hold down the Alt key and go into the space between, and then just hit left or right, and then you can balance the font yourself. And this is, yes, I'm a nitpicker for doing this, but this is to make the fonts look a bit nicer. This was too much on this side. Here, there we go. Kerning, says Cursibu. Exactly. This is, like I said, the bane of my existence is because once you see it, you can't unsee it, that this is not good. So yeah, also what's also working, I think you can do this also with line height. So when you select everything in a line, then with upper and lower, up and down, you can have the line spacing also adjusted. Okay, so talking about spacing, the spacing between those two words is much too large. This looks much nicer, I think. So section header, it's called. And now, of course, I don't want the word section header to be my section header. So I've kerned it all in vain. But yeah, this is okay. One thing that for example, I like about where is it? Let's go to Steam, Disco, Elysium. What they are doing is using transparency, so that if you watch closely, that some parts, for example here, the handle of the pistol and the photograph, they extend a little bit over the section header, that it looks like in-game it also looks like it's from a roll of film, right? Which I find is pretty cool, because it doesn't look as constrained, and it even got this little drop shadow here. So this is also something that you should consider if you want something like this, that it's a bit more work, but it can look much nicer, for example. So for my header, of course, I don't want them to be too blocky or anything. But I think, I mean, right now they are width 958, but this is too wide. What was my width that I actually wanted? I think it was 610. Okay, so this is too wide, so let's scale it down to 610 and not 640, 610. And I'm thinking about maybe having also some sort of something that extends over the actual bar of this header. And I think I shall do this. So I just take the background out and put it into a new group. There we go. And in this new group, I just make this little strip here and use this as a new layer mask. And now the background, in this case it's black, pokes through, which is okay. Because let's extend the layer mask there, because I want something to be on top of it. Okay, so what's topical and makes sense? Maybe some phone things, right? Maybe something related to the phone. I don't have the phone graphics yet, but what I could make is something that looks a bit like the startup icon, right? So we got here again, this looks like this roads sign, this place sign with this greenish thing and the white border, and there it's just this depleted, almost depleted battery. So I think this could be something that would look nice with all the other things that are going on this page. Again, you want to make it look coherent and also of course fit the game. Maybe a little mist that extends over it. You mean? We could try this. But first, yeah, let's make this little section header. Let's open. Let's find where do I have my icon, because it's how I always start things is usually I start them too large and then scale them down for what I need them to be. For example, if I do an icon, I actually design it at 1024 by 1024 and then scale it down, and it looks usually good until 48 by 48 pixels. The 32 by 32 pixels I already start painting over, and the 16 by 16 pixels is just pure pixel art. Right, so where is my Power MT thingy? Right, assets, icon, there we go. So this is the Power MT icon, and you can see here it's quite large for what it is. Yeah, 1024 pixels by 1024 pixels, and already got a little bit of texture, this little dirt and grime here. I'm not super happy with how it looks like, but at least it gives, especially if you scale it down, it gives somewhat the impression of there's a bit of texture happening, but not too much that it's too distracting. Because at the end, all you want to recognize is that this is a battery icon. So for now, I will just duplicate this and copy it as is and just see how it looks. If I just copy everything down. And you know what, like I said, I usually like to make things a bit bigger than they are, and this is also something that I could try here. I make this twice the size. Of course, this also means now that I scaled down the background and scaled it up again, that it looks a bit weird or bad or maybe overly soft. But this is okay. I mean, after all, it's just this weird mist thing going on. And a not so spooky skeleton asked me, why did I get called out? I was lurking. What the hell? Exactly. The automated unicorn just calls out all the lurkers. But now that you've chatted, thank you so much for stepping out of the shadows of your lurkerage. Is this a word? Now it is. And yeah, I don't want to close this. And thank you so much for watching this stream. The unicorn calleth and the unicorn taketh away. Yeah, it's a mean automated unicorn. But after all, I mean, it's a unicorn. You can't really stay mad at it. Okay, so outside of my group, I will just paste now my overly huge icon. Yeah, it's huge, right? And I just convert it to a smart object in Photoshop. This is something, essentially it retains the original size and it just displays it at a different size or a different angle or something, so that you can scale something up again. And the automated unicorn sees all. It sees it everything. It truly does. So I make this just a little bit smaller and just like so. And I mean, of course, this would be nice if there, right now it's just this battery icon, but if it's something topical to the section header. For example, I just call this, instead of section header, manage your power. Oh my god, this font is so ugly in terms of spacing. Of course, I make this a little bit smaller now, but the font is horribly spaced. So to make this a bit better, I just say the kerning overall, let's say -50, -100, -100. It's a bit too much, but you can see that the font is not terribly well spaced. So let's fix this as good as I can. My god, how did no one notice or care how badly this is balanced? Because I mean, this is some sort of a liability, right? Because now I know if I want to use this font, I have to do this every time whenever I want to have something like this as a section header. So it's not something that I can do quickly on my phone over TeamViewer. I really have to go to Photoshop and do this when it should look nice. Okay, let's have a look at it, how it looks smallish. Is this still a nice font? Is this still a good font? I'm a bit worried. But then again, I mean, it's the font of the power. What? No, not print. I triggered the print command. Where was I? Right, images, title, because I just want to show you the title graphic and see. But this is also the Road Gig 2005. Yeah, it's the same thing where I just edited it. Which I think it looks kind of nice. Maybe it could use a bit more detail work, but maybe we can do this a little bit later today. Right, so I took this icon here. Again, if I wanted to have something else in here, this is just the grunge effect. This is what's being embossed here. So I can just, instead of the battery, I can just use different things, like maybe, I don't know, other symbols to help me underline or illustrate what the section header is saying. Okay, so let's have a look at this section header. How would it look nice? Like I said, maybe we could even have it here fade out, with where it's just going to be a bit wispy at the end. I think this could look quite kind of nice actually. So let's make this against black. And to make this wispy fading out, all I do is I change here. This is the actual transparency. So everything that is white is opaque and everything that is black is fully transparent, and I want here now some sort of wispy, foggy tapering out. So this is not what I wanted. I just want to draw a gradient over it that fades to black, like so. And for this, what is the name of the game, says a not so spooky skeleton. The name of the game is Power MT. As demonstrated here in this one. And again, the game is an interactive fiction game. That's already, I mean, it's a Ludum Dare, a game jam game. And all I want to do is put some more bells and whistles onto it and get it on Steam and make it look nice on Steam. Look, I got the achievement again, because the first, this is just for testing, the first page grants you the achievement, and the next one takes it away, taketh away. And there you can switch on, for example, here, in this version of the game, the battery gets drained by 2% power when you switch on the flashlight, and when you switch on the compass and so on. Right now, at least in this version, you only have the flashlight and the compass, but I have some ideas for more stuff that you can have in the game. So yeah, are those awards placeholders or did you get them? Yeah, for now, I mean, I just got them. I only have implemented this one achievement so that I could test that the Steam implementation actually works. So yeah, they're kind of placeholders, but essentially the look of them again should be like here in the icon. And later today I probably will be playing Inscription. Well, probably not today, tomorrow. Anywho, and for the Steam page, I want everything to look as coherent as possible. Right, so this is the menu background, and now for some wispiness. Don't think I'd stream development of something unless it was a Counter-Strike map. I mean, this is the cool thing about Twitch. You can pretty much see all different things being developed. Is it from games to programming to people doing crafts to people painting? It's just people doing I don't know, wood cutting or something. It's truly amazing, and this is really what I like about Twitch. I can look at someone being a forge, going at it with a hammer, and then in the end comes out a blade, and I thought, oh, I never knew how this works, and now I can just watch it. This is super cool. Right, okay, so wispiness. You know what? I just copy this alpha matte and show you how I do my wispiness, because I hope that Photoshop is not terribly bad today. And as for some sort of wispy, smoky things, I have figured out like 20 years back how to do this. And my trick is to use a hard brush for starters. And well, it's not that hard. But for smoke here, I just go like this. So super simple. And the other thing is, I mean, it's not opacity 90%. Let's go with opacity 100%. And I mean, it doesn't have to be that hard. And now I just make it a bit smaller and go like this or so. And now here comes the trick where we want from here where there is the smoke emerging from. And the trick is now to use the tool that is frowned upon by many designers. I think it's called the smudge finger, as it was called usually. It's the smudge tool which you can smudge stuff together. And with a relatively big radius, you just make little twirls there. And there you go. You got some sort of smoke going on here. And like I said, I figured this out many years back. But the part is not to overdo it, that it still looks some sort of wispy or smoky. So, and I will do this again, but a bit smaller, so that it looks like there are more smoke tendrils, maybe mixing or something, or mingling, to give it just a bit more depth. And again, maybe a bit smaller radius there on the smudge tool. And look at this, it kind of looks like, if we rotate this, as I said, if we rotate this, it looks like some sort of cigarette smoke that's very much confined to this space here. Right. I mean, it's not super pretty, I have to say. I mean, usually you want to make this undulating, snaky lines there, and you want it to taper out at the end. But for that, I just say I want an eraser, make it kind of big, like so, and have the hardness at not 100%, it's super soft. And then I just gently erase. I wanted to erase mode clear, gently erase one side of it. This was just a small one, like so. And now I have this smoke that's trailing out. Cool. And essentially, no, this was rotated the wrong way. This is essentially, I just want this little back part here of the smoke. And what also I need to do is, let's have a look here at this gradient. I don't like how this gradient is looking, because I want the smoke, or the title to merge into this gradient, I think at this point here. So you know what, I just start a new layer, just pure white and titanium white. Take here my titanium white on my brush, then just paint over it like so. You can't make any mistakes. All we make is happy little accidents. There we go. And now I beat the devil out of it. There we go. Cool. Okay, so I think this could be the nice alpha matte for the section header. But it was not entirely filling it. If I invert it now, you can see I still had this little strip here that I actually wanted to use. So I just copy the middle part. Just take out the middle part here, or you know what? I just take the entire alpha matte there and then just squeeze it. Just squeeze it. Ender is jealous of people who can draw things. Yes, so am I. My trick is only to draw things that I know I can draw well, which means my paintings usually are very dark because I only make somewhat of an edge somewhere with a strong color that maybe looks like something, and then just leave it at it, because the more I try to detail things or more paint into it, the more it comes off as wrong. So everything just hidden away in darkness. So let's paste here my section header and let's just squeeze it. No, I have to apologize. My Photoshop is super laggy today. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay, so now I think this looks nice, but probably we need to have some sort of white smoke there as well, because now it looks like that this blue, I mean, it doesn't look too bad actually. It doesn't look too bad. Not So Spooky Skeleton says, is every animated video on some game store pages in the description GIFs? Is every animated video on some games? Are you asking, is there ever a GIF or something on the store pages? Because I don't think there is, because I don't think you're allowed to upload GIFs, or even if you upload a GIF, it just shows the first frame or something. Andrew says, all the UI in my current projects is composed of one gradient sprite and one frame sprite. Hey, I mean, if it works, never change a running system, right? But sometimes when you have the time and also, of course, the muse to do something like this, it's of course, it can be quite zen. And so I thought this is what I'd be doing today for the stream. I really don't like what is happening there with the G and the Y. Yeah, maybe I need to make this bigger. Because drawing, especially when you don't really know where you're going with the drawing, and when it's even okay that if you don't finish or something, then it can be quite liberating if you just try something. Go to Ghost Runner's store page. It's filled with what I'm talking about. Ghost Runner, really? It has GIFs? Is this allowed? Can they do this? Ghost Runner, super hot. Yes, I'm born on January 1st. My God, 1990. I'm not, but can they really do this? My God, they can. This is super cool if you can do this. This is nice. The one downside of this is, of course, that you have to have a lot of bandwidth, and of course you have to make sure that even in GIF form it looks nice. But I mean, for this game where everything is about speed and being super, I mean, you fail your way to mastery, but then when you have this final run where everything clicks together, it looks amazing, and this is exactly what the GIFs essentially tell you. You know what? Now you've got me onto the track of, you know what, maybe I could animate my section headers. And for that I probably will not do this wispy thing here, but I will just use a video of the menu here. And to do that I will just save this as a new project so I don't delete what I have, and I just call this section header background version 1, and then I take everything out that I don't need, I just make this a bit brighter so that you can follow along. Okay, so what won't I need? One thing is the distance fog, probably can keep it. The power lines, I don't need the power lines. The tree lines, I don't need the tree lines, also not for lightning. More tree lines, there we go. More power lines. Then the dust wave, I don't need the dust wave. And I don't need the grain elevator there. There we go. There is just this solid fog, and you know what? I think I can even take out the road. I think so. It's just this smokiness. Portal 2 has a good store page. Yeah, Portal 2. Let's have a look at it. And the Ender says, yeah, I'm looking at some pages now. The GIFs seem real. I recall when I tried it 6 years ago. Okay, it's quite a long time. They didn't allow GIFs. And Portal 2 has a good store page. I mean, Portal 2 is a classic. Portal 2. I mean, Portal 2 is I think the highest rated Steam game ever. And overwhelmingly positive by 98%. Does it also have GIFs? But I mean, look at this product features. It really tells you everything you need to know. Okay, so there are no GIFs, but
farming at the local farm college. Never farmed a day.
But those trailers of what's it, Cave Johnson, if I recall correctly, are super nice. I mean, you can't go wrong with Portal 2. Right? Okay, so I will just say I probably don't need all 30 seconds of this loop. Maybe let's say just how many seconds for a header image? Let's say with just 5 seconds or so. That changes to title menu animation, just fog animation, and then put this in a new composition. And what's going on here? Oh, this is storm clouds. This is not what I wanted to put in a new composition. Fog animation, there we go. And how high do we want to have this? Probably, let's try 400 pixels. Is this too small? Yeah, I think this is still too wide. Let's try 200 pixels. Something like this. 150. Yeah, this could work. This could work. And Fernify is here. Welcome. Thank you so much for dropping by. We're making animated headers for the Steam page. And the animation is going to be this foggy, twirly thing there. And you know what? I would like, now that I can see it here, the fog is very strong in the center and very bright, and then it tapers off to the sides. But it doesn't look quite nice in terms of what is going on here. There's something in the background still running. Oh no! Is this running? Oh, someone's streaming the game. Was this it? No, this was not it. There's music playing and I don't know from where. No. At least someone's jamming out. No. There we go. It was Portal 2 all along. It was Portal 2. Thank you so much. Kelly Bailey, I think, made the music to Portal 2. Yeah, thank you for catching. Yeah, maybe close Portal 2 tab now. Keep it going. Yeah, I don't want to risk a copyright strike. But you know what? Maybe some music. I don't know for how long I will be streaming, but maybe some music would be nice. So let's bring up Fubar 2000 and see what old crap I still have in my Fubar. Obsolete things, old shit playlist. There we go. And let's start with something like this. This could be nice. Please let me know if it's too loud in the background. Just some chill music, and yeah. Right, okay, I want the fog animation that it's not as bright in the middle. So I got here my vignette. And this vignette, if I draw it out like this, should make sure that this side is a bit brighter and that this side is a bit darker. And this, I think, should have been it. Does this do anything? No, so I can delete this. Do I need the distance fog? Yeah, maybe I keep the distance fog down here, just to give it more texture. Again, if I turn down the exposure, it will look very dark. So I think I add a new adjustment layer where I make it a bit brighter. And yeah, it's an adjustment layer, so I say color correction. Yeah, let's do it with curves and see that this could look nice, right? So if I switch on the background, there is no background, but right now it tapers out, as you can see here, into black. Do we want it to taper out into black, or actually do we want to have something cool and use the actual color of the store page? So that it looks like it's, yeah, this is still the font from before. My God, I have so many browser windows open. Is this the one? No, this should be the one. So let's just take here a screenshot of the store background, or even better, I got here my visual color picker, and then just pick me the background color, and then I can just copy and paste it. Super helpful, this little tool. Okay, so I just make a new solid of this very color. I just call it Steam Store Background. And now it's on top of everything, and that I don't want, of course, but I want to put it in the back. And this adjustment layer, well, I only want to apply the curves onto the fog themselves. And now we'll just say screen. And if I turn off the fog, you can see that this blue is the Steam background, and this is what it will do with the fog on top. So as I said, I only want 5 seconds of the fog. So I want it hopefully to be as seamless as possible. As Not So Spooky Skeleton said, it was Mike Moraski, Kelly Bailey left Valve after that point, I think. Really, my God, is Portal 2 that old? Where already he had left? My God. I'm getting old now. Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, Kelly Bailey, I think he was even at Microsoft with Gabe Newell back then, I think. Loved the music he did for Half-Life 2, by the way. And gonna get a blue screen from all those browser tabs. Yeah, sooner or later. Right, 5-second loop. So what I will do is, I mean, this is my trick to get something like this as seamless as possible. So after 5 seconds, where the looping point will be, there we go. Oh, there is still, even in the animation, there is still the lightning happening. So I probably can take the lightning out. Adjustment layer. Color, do I still need the color? Probably do. And of course there is something wrong with the expression, so maybe I put it back in, because the entire lightning is happening through some expressions, which is just turning the opacity on some certain folders on and off. And now I've deleted some of those, so I probably don't need the lightning sky, don't need the road anymore. So when there is lightning happening, yeah, this is good. Okay, so back to where I was. So at 5 seconds with the fog animation, I split it after 5 seconds and pull the remainder on top, and then just fade it out from where it was before. Let me zoom in a bit. So here I just put it on top and then fade it out. The problem now is that I'm blending both via screen, so the one blends into the other. This is not what I want. So let's try it differently, and I've faded out over 2 seconds. And then of course, when it loops, again it gets to this point where it just starts to fade out on top of itself. So I just say the duration is now 5 seconds, of course, and the frame rate for an animated GIF, I don't need 60 FPS. I think 25 should do, especially for something that is as slow as this. So let's render it. And it's taking quite long because it's quite a relatively big composition. And again, for some reason, I think with the streaming in the background, it's I don't have the best performance. Okay, so just for an idea, so this is when we make it a bit brighter, how it will look like. So now to mix it there with background color, I put the Steam Store page color on top and just say on that screen. So if I turn out now the exposure change, so this is how it will look like, which is kind of cool, I have to say. But again, I now have to make everything there in After Effects. But this is fine. And Redeemed Unicorn, thank you for that. Okay, so manage your power. So this, I think this will be the only title that I managed to do in this stream, because I got distracted quite a lot, but this is cool. It's always nice to hang out with you. Okay, so manage your power. Again, this will be the other font. Manager your power, but the Road Geek font. There we go. And I said by default -75 in terms of kerning. Let's make the font about this size. And again, we have to also manage the kerning in this font, that it looks a bit nicer. I don't like how wide the spacing between the words is as well. Does this look nice? I think it does. I think it works a lot better than before. Maybe this is still too close to the O. Yeah, I think at first glance it works. Thank you, Automated Unicorn, for enjoying yourself. Right, then of course I said I want this little overhang, right? For this I need to clip pretty much everything underneath to the background color. And for this, I mean, I can just take this new adjustment layer here and cut it to size, like so, and say the mode should be Silhouette Alpha. No, it's the other way, I always mix them up. Stencil Alpha. So the blue that you can see poking through is the Steam Store page color. That's pretty cool. Okay, so what did I have next here? Of course, I had this little icon there that was a bit bigger than the rest. Okay, so I have two choices now. I can recreate the icon here in After Effects, and I think this is what I will be doing. Yeah, let's do this. It doesn't take that long anyway. So I only need to get the colors right, and for that, as always, I have my visual color picker, and then just pick the green that I have here. And this should be it. So make a new rounded rectangle. There we go. Probably not in red, but with the greenish color, and the stroke should be white. Like so. If I make the background now black, we can see that it's not looking very nice. Why not? Probably because the corner radius is not how I would like it. It needs to be a bit rounder. But how do I do this? Can I just click it once? Oh, sorry, I need to undo this, because I think there is an option where I can specify here the rectangle, the corner radius. I think transform, rotation, fill, stroke. No, rectangle path, roundness. There we go. So I think a roundness of 100 should be nice, or is it too much? Let's try 75. Yeah, I think this 75 looks better. Okay, so I mean, right now the stroke is purely white. I want to give it a bit of a gray, like so. And then make sure that it's not being cut off at any point. Yeah, okay, this works. Now I only need this icon or this design of the emptied battery. So I can import this from Photoshop. So let's just say this is 30 thick, or I can recreate it here because it really isn't that involved. So I just say we're not going to fill this. How does this look like? Yeah, it's quite simple. So it's just this, and I center these or align these at the composition center, like so. And now this, of course, the second one needs to be a bit higher, like this. And the stroke width should be a bit thicker than 30. Maybe let's try 35, that it looks correct. So like so. If I zoom in, is it still good? Yeah, now it looks correct. Cursibu says, not easy to directly put the icon into After Effects. Yes, it would be, but I want different icons, and I thought, yeah, it's just simpler if I just quickly redraw the icon. So this was my entire reasoning for this. So no stroke, and I mean it's still good if you. At least for me, sometimes I want to do things that I already did many times over again, just to see how fast I am when doing them again. Okay, so again, the outline here is white of this one, and I want to give it a bit of a grayish tinge, like so. And even in small, yeah, this looks good. Let's just call it icon battery. There we go. Fog animation tool. I just call this header 1 power, or manage your power. There we go. It's 5 seconds long, and the icon battery is on top. 10%, maybe a bit bigger. Yeah, I think this could work quite nicely, actually. Text could start here. Does this look nice? Or maybe is the background a bit too bluish, too bright? Let's try and get here the fog animation a bit darker. If I just disable it, but now it blends a bit too much into the background of the Steam page. Actually, yeah, maybe it just needs more contrast overall. The problem is when you increase the contrast, you also increase the saturation, so I probably have to take out the saturation at the end as well, which I'm going to do right away. So color correction and HSL. Then saturation to 0 is probably too much, but if I diminish the saturation by, let's say, 30%-ish, we should be good. Okay, the next thing is that I want is give it a bit of more depth. So here I would say I give it a light drop shadow here, the text. Let's try this. So for this I can say effect, perspective, and bevel edges. Oh, you know what? We could bevel the edges a little bit. The problem is, you can see here how the beveling works. It treats it as a rectangle, and this is not what I want actually. So, right, this is my wife texting me, so probably I should call it a day for now. So, now she's just sent me something on TikTok. So maybe let's quickly finish this one. Right, okay, perspective. I'm wrong here. Perspective, drop shadow. With drop shadow, you also have to be super careful, because is something really casting a drop shadow, and in this case I think it helps. What I always like to do is make it very soft and turn down the opacity even a bit more, so that you only feel it slightly. And if I turn it off and on, if you watch closely, you can see that text becomes a bit more legible, but not overly much. Same kind of drop shadow I want to add there to the battery icon. But now we have a problem, because down here we only got like 3 pixels and the drop shadow is a bit too big for that. So I just move everything up, because the drop shadow is only going down. So I take that and the Steam store, well, this can stay, and essentially move everything just a little bit up, and also probably need to move this up as well. I really don't like that song. This is super annoying. I'm sorry for that. Oh, this is a nice little song. Yeah, make this little icon a bit smaller. Let's give it 12%, just so that it extends a little bit over the strip there. So manage your power, and yes, it's the clouds are in the background are animating. I'm thinking about, now we got this hard edge there. Would it be nicer if it's a soft edge that's also moving with the clouds? I'm not quite sure. Probably I'm making this overly intricate and nobody will care. I'm still not quite sure if the font is not too large for what it is. So if we look at it here, what did change? The devil is in the details, exactly. I wanted to fill my Steam page, right? My Steam shop page. And what I'm doing now is animating GIFs. And again, I like to say GIFs and not GIFs, because it's not called graphics. So why is it still looking incorrect in the background? The fog animation. Let me quickly check. Because here, when I disable the fog in the background, it should not be visible. Or here with the first frame, it should not be visible. And it is not visible, but then it starts to blend together with the other fog. Oh dear, and I think maybe I should start later. Maybe I should start later with doing this fog blending thing here. Yeah, let's try this again. Let's just take here the opacity from this. Oh yeah, I realized what the problem was. The problem was not here with my opacity, but that I had this color balance on one layer and not on the other. So this is what was going on here. So hopefully this should work better now. Look at me spitting cliches. Well, Rome was also not built in a single stream. It was not, but Rome endures to this day. Okay, for some reason now my super nifty trick of making seamless fog, I don't think that it's working. Okay, so I'm just viewing it from here. No, it jumps like a horse on catnip. This is really not what I wanted. Okay, but if I split this here, move this up to there, and then... Oh, I think this was the problem. I did not animate it properly. So we start here at 100% opacity and fade it out by 2 seconds, and this was the problem. Okay, good. I've been using After Effects for 20 years now, and it still happens that I'm on the wrong layer or something. So let's see if this seamless thing is working. Almost. We got one black frame here. But yes, it's working. It's working just fine. Okay, so manage your power. Again, with the font, I think it's still too big. I think it's still too big or too large. And let's make this smaller. It's 89 pixels. Let's try 72 pixels. because the thing that I'm not too happy with is that it looks somehow like a PowerPoint presentation from the 80s or early 90s or something. Something that you would do with a video toaster. If anyone knows what the video toaster was. Maybe it's just because the font is just so big and in your face. You know what? I will try now. I will just go through different fonts. Maybe I can have something that looks a bit nicer. Yeah, probably not in the Arabic fonts because I don't know what looks nice. So manage your power sounds like a Spider-Man quote. It does. It kind of does, right? So since, I mean, maybe we could do some with something that looks a bit like a text. Maybe you'd want to compare your regular stream text that will be underneath on the page. I mean, my regular Steam text that will be without. Yeah, this regular Steam text is this one here. This one is pretty bland. I mean, it's not super bland, but it blends very well with pretty much all the fonts. If we look at it very closely, it's not Arial, it's not Tahoma, it's a bit more modern, but it has a bit of character, but not too much. So I think the more the louder essentially the font is that I'll be using there is maybe something like this. I mean, now of course the kerning is again broken. So now, okay, because now I have the new kerning, right? You know what? I just copy the drop shadow and start with a completely new text layer that I don't have my kerning adjustments there. Manage your power. Without a typo, maybe? Power. What I want to say before was, since this is a text game, maybe something with serifs, or maybe something like, yeah, that chapter font. Egyptian. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look like anything else. White header versus grayish body text will stick out. I mean, since it's a header, it will stick out anyway. I would think so. Did you watch Arcane? No, I did not. I did not because I thought there's no point in watching it because I don't know anything about League of Legends. Or no, what's it called? Wait, Fortnite, not League of Legends. Oh my god, I completely outed myself as an ignorant again. So, the Egyptian. I mean, I like the Egyptian, but it really doesn't work. Foxglove will probably, yeah, this is the Stranger Things or the font for many of Stephen King books. Okay, I'm second guessing my choice of font now. You know what? Maybe I should go with the ITC Avantgarde. This is, or maybe if I stick with all caps with Road Geek and make it even smaller, like 60. I watched Arcane for the character shader. Oh, this is an interesting reason to watch something. HLSL Power. Oh yes, my god, good old shaders. What do I want to do? Right, I'm completely lost now. Yeah, I need to fix the kerning on this ugly font again and then see. But I think if I really don't want to mix fonts too much. I mean, the font, you know what? I could use the font. It'll be worth it, or IT, or the Stephen King font. You know what? I think I'm okay with this. You know what I think my actual problem is that this blue of the background doesn't work well with the green there of the signage. And I think I even have the same problem here when I'm looking at my actual title screen. Because it has the same clash of colors. Oh, little Stephen King sneaked in my autocorrection. The IT, you mean the it. Yeah, this green doesn't look too nicely with the background. What I could do is either make the background green which could be actually kind of interesting. You know what? Let's give it a try. Where I just change the hue of the background into this sickly green, and maybe turn down the saturation a bit more, that it's along the same hue lines. Maybe this could work. Frankly, I like this a lot better. I mean, now the icon doesn't really stand out that much, does it? So maybe I would also give this battery icon a bit more of this glow outside. So let's say I want my drop shadow straight from the top and have the opacity on the drop shadow a bit wider, that we have the softness like so. And distance is too much. Let's go with 20 or something. And of course the opacity really just implied like 40 or so. Yeah, you agree, Ender, that green works better, does it? I mean, now of course I need to change also the title animation, but this is fine. I mean we're all just trying things out today. Maybe to preview it on the page with context. I would agree, yeah. So I think I will just render this one out and gifify it. Still not happy with the font. It looks a bit too loud actually, and I can't really place it. But yeah, whatevs. Let's try and render it. So let's make header image power. Let's make a new composition out of it that is just the size of the actual header, which was 610 pixels by 48. So this is really not a lot. So at 100%, this is what it looks like. So yeah, not that much. So how do I turn this into a GIF, you probably ask? And my trick of this is I just rendered here in After Effects, I previewed here in After Effects, and then use a tool like, what's it called? Honeycam, there we go. Honeycam, where is it? Where is my Honeycam? Oh, it's probably where all my screen recorders are. If I can find it. Where's my Honeycam? Did I delete it? No, I did not delete it. There we go. For some reason I forgot how the icon looked. Okay, and then I can just record it there directly from the screen. So it's 610 by 48. And now I can zoom in and make sure that it's actually sitting where it should be sitting. And it should be a bit further, a couple of pixels there and 2 pixels further down. So one like this and one further down. Okay, I think it's correct. One pixel further down. Okay, good. There we go. I mean, isn't this super pixel specific work. Okay, I had it at 25 FPS, and now I'm just recording from here and stopping again. And oh dear, you can see this white little thing. This is my mouse pointer there. This is not good. This is not what I wanted. Okay, so I switch off the mouse cursor and just hit record and stop. Okay, so now the hardest part is just to find out where it jumps. So I go over to edit. I can stop what's happening here in After Effects in the background. And I think I can delete some of... Yeah, I think this was Does this look seamless? Relatively, right? For what it is, it's relatively seamless. Good. My God, so much detail-oriented work just for a header image on the page. 125 frames. Apparently, I mean, since I'm doing live playback, it's 114 frames, because with Honeycam, I've realized it's not actually super thorough when it comes to frame rate. It's not that frame rate, because I have a hunch that it's missing some commas, because you can see here some take 1.6 seconds. This one takes 0.6 and this one 0.5. So I think this is the culprit. So if it looks correct, then it should be correct. Okay, let's try this, and I save it as GIF and preview play, preview quality, preview size. So it's almost 1 megabyte. My God, 1 megabyte. And let's call this just power section header 1, or just power section header manage power. I will just copy this, because I have a hunch that we will need the file name later. So good. Oh, we can update it. Wonderful. Let's update it. Why not? What could happen? So let's preview this here again. Looks good. Looks good for what it is. And yeah, let's see if I can still find my Steam window. Tag Wizard Store. So I can special announcement section, upload custom images. This is the one that I want, and I still got the achievements there. Pixel Prophecy, power section header manage power. So I can use just this one here and try and see how this works. Short description, and of course I have to upload it. Maybe Stream supports other animated image formats. Who knows? I mean, the other thing looked like a GIF to me. GIF successfully uploaded as extras power section header power.gif. And then I can just use it like this, right? Should work. Then I hit save, and then I should see it, I hope. But it says here only PNG, JPEG and GIF are supported. GIF files will only display in the About This and the Special Announcement section. Okay, so About This is about this game. There we go. So preview changes in the store. Edit store page. Okay, apparently I cannot display it right now, because I recall that there was this beta mode where I could have a look at it in the store, but clearly I have to look at preparing for release, Steamworks account, creating store page, store presence, coming soon, pricing, release options, review process, Steam tags, updating your game, best practices. Yeah, this is not what I want. Coming soon, early access, editing a store page. You can check out the early access documentation, graphical assets overview. Yeah, the graphical assets overview, this is something that I haven't looked into yet. But there we have all the different formats that we actually need. So like I said, this is actually what I wanted to get into today, because it's so many, relatively speaking, so many of those graphical assets. But I don't know how to get this to the store. So basic info, ratings, graphical assets, probably because I don't have enough graphical assets. Because this one here, I mean, store assets 0 of 5, library assets 0 of 4. So yeah, broadcast assets, it would also be helpful if I have here for the left and right panel something that displays when someone is streaming my game. So emails. So of course it's something that probably I need to do to see it there in action. But what we could do is, let me see if I can just essentially hijack someone else's Steam page. Let's try this. Yeah, let's try this one here and then just inject my own code there. This should work, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure how, but it should work. Right, where was I? Autoplay blocked. There we go. So inspector, travel 2000. There we go. So I want, instead of this summary image that's hosted on, oh, this is script hosted on Cloudflare. Description is a narrative game about this game. Let's see where I can select this image here. And this is on Cloudflare. Can I delete node, break on subtree, change pseudo class screenshot node? I just want to try here my image source file. Let's try this. Fill C fill no, it was C users fill desktop. No, it does not work. It would have been nice. Or do I need to put this differently? Oh, I think maybe if it's not backslashes, right? Because backslashes is so Windows. No, it also does not work. Could not load image. I thought I could just inject there something locally. But you know what I could do? Essentially is I just save this page, and then drag or click. No, there we go. Okay, just say test and then eject just the image that is referred there. So where is now my saved page? Where is it? I've just lost my tab as well. There we go. Oh, I copied it over to files test. Okay. No worries, then we head over to F files test. There we go. Okay, now we can look at this locally, I hope. And now I can just say, let's examine this again. So, and there it should be just in the root folder of itself. Does this work now? Power header section manage power.gif. Or is it stored somewhere differently where it's not? I mean, we got all those icons here. Let's see how where this won't save. Oh, of course, I need to use the folder name as well. So save the forgotten city on Steam files. There we go. Okay. This is so hard, but I'm almost there. Almost there. Paste. There we go. Okay. So now finally I've hijacked this page, but this is what it would look like on Steam. And I have to say, I think this works. Not quite sure if I'm 100% convinced, but I like this wispiness of this. And regarding now the page that looks much like this, probably these icons there, these images are not there for my game. But yes, I think this could work. I think this could work. And what would be nice would be, I'm just spitballing here, but that sometimes there is this lightning, right? And I mean, when the GIFs are loaded at the same time, then everything would have this, at the same time experience this lightning effect. Or maybe this is just too much. But maybe compare it to the blue variant. I think it looks great. Yeah, let's try it. Let's try also and go for a blue variant. And where did I make the changes? Here and here. And I closed, oh dear, I closed Honeycam again. And now I have to perfectly align it there as well. Good, okay, so one down. No, oh god, it's so huge. One down. Of course, I need to zoom out. One down and no, oh dear, I zoomed in. I zoomed in After Effects. This was bad. Okay. Let's try this again. Okay, zooming in here. And it's one down. Okay, it really ignores me when I'm zoomed in, so I always have to zoom out. This is annoying. Okay, this looks good. It's still one more down. Yes, looks right. Okay, let's try this then. Okay, then I hit record now and stop. Okay, edit. There we go. And okay, let's see if this did it. Yeah, it looks seamless. Okay, cool. Oh, good. And how did I call this again? Header. No, let's peek. Power header, manage power, blue. Blue. There we go. Okay. Save. And it says, I'll also be the buzzkill again and reiterate about Steam page size policy. What was the Steam page size policy? Oh dear, because then of course we have to set the quality quite down, because right now it's at 100%. So if I set this to this like 32 kilobytes, preview size, preview play. Yeah, this is play, preview quality. It would look a bit more grainy, but let's try this. Let's try this more grainy with 32 kilobytes. It should be okay, I think, as compared to 800. Oh dear, this looks horrible. Okay, good. Page load size, right? Yeah. This doesn't look good. This does not look good. Let's say the quality, let me put this to 60 and can I see different format settings? Different quantizations, let's go with NEU, whatever this means, it's just a different algorithm. So this is probably my wife now for sure, that where she's saying she's going to bed and where the hell am I? Yeah, she's relatively KO and she says she knows that I'm almost done. You know what, let's very quickly finish this. So show in folder. This looks better. This looks still like there is something going on in the smoke. Yeah, let's try this. And okay. And where did I have it? Here, just drop it there. So okay, very quickly, there is this section header here. Then can I just copy this one? Copy, paste. No, this does not work. Duplicate, no, this does work. So that I just move it down here, for example, that we have a different header there and just say blue. I mean, not gonna lie, I like also the blue version. This was the wrong button. F12, there we go. Also like the blue version, because the blue version works very well with the blue background in Steam. I'm really torn. I'm not quite sure how to proceed now. But maybe, you know what, maybe it's the green. Because the blue and the green, they don't work very well together. Maybe I can get the green more towards blue or more towards yellow, just that it's not this closely on the color wheel to the blue. But overall, I think at least I got something out of today's stream, and this is that I like animated GIFs, so thank you. Skeletons aren't that spooky if you're still here for suggesting that. Cool. Green looks more horror-ish. It does, right? It has this one looks like it's a dark, misty place, and this one looks like Cthulhu is just around the corner. Maybe it's just a bit because it has the same, or even is even brighter than this one. Maybe it just needs to be more subdued. Who knows? I have to think it over. Alrighty then, with all my things that are still open, section header, background, I think I will call it a day, because again my wife is very exhausted for today and I don't want to keep her waiting for much longer. Yeah, thank you for sticking with me for this very unorganized stream where I was talking about first chromatic subsampling in OBS, and then what is important in my opinion when you list your things on Steam. I got apparently another Black Friday announcement, and yeah, I hope this was interesting, useful, or even just mildly entertaining to you. Let me switch back, and yeah, that at least your time was not wasted watching me doing my stream. With that being said, again, thank you for dropping by. Thank you for being such active in the chat. You really helped me, especially with some concept there, and of course with the idea of doing animated GIFs, because animated GIFs are nice. So with that being said, have a great week. See you next Sunday, and until then, I'm also now on TikTok for what it's worth. So maybe I'll catch you there. Who knows? All right, have a great week and see you soon.